Excuse me, can others hear me? Sorry. This was working in practice. But now, I have to modify some settings. Okay, so, now that we're here, welcome to the YowLife, YowLife live stream. Or YowLiveStream as I want to call it. Alright, so, for today I'm going to be working on a few characters, some t-shirt designs. And that's right, we're going to have some YowLife t-shirts coming out for the future. So, make sure to tune in, ask questions, and you're free to make suggestions on any of the artwork I'm working on. Right now, I decided to work on this drawing of Matt and Julie, and you can already see what's going on here. Yeah, she's giving him, a big old smooch, but the idea is it's a distraction as she's working on beating the game, and looks like she wins. So, I'm going to be working for about 3 hours here, maybe a little longer. So, yeah. Let's get right to it. Always got to work on the heads first. I think everyone starts out that way. Just got to smoothen it out. So like I said, this is my first live stream. I'm trying to work out some kinks, trying to figure out how to look at the chat as I work. Don't worry, I'll figure things out. I always do. No serious Schwarzbot Black. I do not know Miraculous Ladybug. I've heard of it, and I've seen that pitch video that was an anime. That was pretty cool. Kind of sad they didn't go with that. But, yeah, it was a pretty good, pitch video. Haven't seen the show. Hope it's good. Christian Joff. Don't I know you from somewhere? As in Facebook. Anyway, what got me interested in animation, that's a pretty long topic. I've always really wanted to make cartoons ever since I was a kid. There's a certain magic to them that just got me interested. It was like a whole different world. And I was never actually interested in many live action shows as a kid. I always wanted to make a cartoon to appear on Cartoon Network, and maybe that'll happen in the future. Well, who knows? I have many ideas for shows, and hopefully one of them will get the attention of some executives and I can get something started. No, Hajime Jin, this is not the second part, but I have been working on that Gamers 2, which has been renamed for legal reasons. Still in pre-production. Not exactly, haven't animated it yet, but I'm working on it. I've seen a bit of that Diamond Unbreakable series, Music Master 52 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's okay. The designs are pretty ugly. I mean, no offense. I'm sure they have their fans. But even so, I'm not trying to say I hate the show. It seemed like an alright show when I watched it. I'm just more interested in cuter, more attractive designs. Always been. I think one thing that got me interested in anime was the show I used to watch as a kid called Hamtaro. It was a pretty good show about hamsters. In fact, that show made me want to get a hamster as a kid. It was a lot of work, and I don't know, my hamsters never lived forever. I'm sad to say that. But, good show, and I'm sad to say it's not on DVD. The whole series. Not even in Japanese, actually. It's a true tragedy. So right now, just working on the hair. Always got to fill in each individual strand or part. It's a bit of a tedious work, but it helps out when I have to adjust little things in the future. Always sketch out my designs on paper first. That way, I have a physical version. And it clutters up my room, or my office. Nintendo Gamer 101. Yeah, you can post a reaction video of my film Gamers. Post reaction videos to whatever you want. It's not like I'm going to stop you. Just, don't re-upload my work and say it's your own. Let's see, Lucid Boy 153. If you want to make your own series when it comes to animating, that's a big project. I guess you might want to find some friends who are really up for helping you. I've had some people say they would help me with various projects, but they never actually commit to it. So maybe finding some friends to help out with that, or hold off for a while, just focus on making individual projects. Don't try and be too ambitious, because you'll either fail or hate yourself for doing something so hard. I've learned that lesson the hard way when I was making my feature film in high school. I did prove so many people wrong that I made that film, because many of my classmates and teachers didn't really think I was actually going to make that, because many people already say, I'm going to make a film, I'm going to make this big epic thing, and they never actually commit to it. They never finish it, they never get halfway. But for me, I was the only one that actually got it done. So they actually had to invent a new award because no one else did that, which was, it was alright. Got the Mr. M Memorial Award. I guess M stands for media. It was pretty cool. But I lost so many sleepless nights working on that movie. I used to get nightmares from it. In fact, one time, I was working on it late into the night, to the point where I fell asleep and woke up on the floor. And I had to get back up and work on the movie some more. That was terrible. So, I really don't recommend making a movie in high school unless you're really passionate about it. I guess like I was. But it's a lot better if you have friends help. Well, L30N, if I could remake an old animation short, the top of my head right now, let's see. Well, one of the ideas is Soda Wars. Some people might not know what that is because um, there's this old service that was on the Nintendo DSi. There's this old program called Flipnote. I think there's still Flipnote today. Maybe it's been updated. But they had this service called Flipnote Hatena. And Hatena, I had all kinds of animations uploaded to my Nintendo YL account, which stood for YowLife. In fact, on that account was the birth of the name YowLife. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is I had this pseudo series on there called Soda Wars about me and my best friend Ethan. How in middle school we used to fight each other saying like cream soda is better than root beer. That was my claim, and he kept saying that root beer was better, and we just sort of argued like that, saying the taste, it's better. I brought cream soda, he had root beer. And it got to the point where I said, fine, I'm just going to make a video, an animation, where I fight you and you fight me and I win. And I did that. And since then, we've actually been talking about, Soda Wars and what we could do with the series. Because I kept making more animations. And it led up to like around 10 ideas for movies for the Soda Wars series. But I think it would be a cool project to actually work on. Of course, I'm not so petty that I'll just make cream soda win like I was when I was a kid. I'll probably put a good spin on it. In fact, at one point, we had a new character come in that was just a main villain to everybody called Kool-Aid, who was the Kool-Aid man, and he just wanted to destroy all soda in the world. And our heroes who are fighting each other now have to team up to save the world from this fruit punch menace. Oh yeah, and there was another character who represented Cola, but since he's been retconned from the non-series, because it doesn't even exist right now, there is a comic I made for Soda Wars when I was in high school. That's on my DeviantArt, and you can check that out. But yeah, at some point I'd love to remake that. Be a good series. So sometimes I just experiment with different ways to draw certain parts, like this ear. Right now I'm just starting with a circle, but I might modify it later on, distort it, make it look different. Make the hair different color. Let's see. Let's work on the bangs. If I were to remake Gamers, I think one of the things I would do is I would not let Julie kiss Matt so soon. In fact, Gamers might make a good series where Matt meets someone, tries to apologize, and then finds out it's not as easy as he thinks. And the reason why he wants to apologize is because he likes this person and he just wants to hang out with them because he finally found someone who likes all the interests as him. And he doesn't try to hang out with her to be romantic, but it would turn into something like that later on. I think that would be a cool idea and be a bit more relatable. The original Gamers idea came about when I was in high school. I've already posted this on the description of the original Gamers short film. It was for thanks for 20 million views. I'm still really proud of that. That's amazing, and it's just great. I love that. What happened was I was talking to one of my friends, and she was really into Legend of Zelda. And basically, I've been known as the Zelda Master to my friends because I was able to beat more Zelda games than everyone else. And I had the most knowledge on Legend of Zelda out of all of us, so they just started calling me the Zelda Master. And I started embracing it. This was in middle school, really, when that started. So when it came to high school, I was still really into Zelda, and meeting a girl who was also really interested in Zelda was really cool. I don't like that. So what I did was I told her that I could beat her in a speed run of Majora's Mask for the Nintendo 64. She said no, she could beat me, so we both agreed to do a a competition where both of us would play the game and try to beat it from start to finish. And I pretty much, began to think of an idea where a boy and a girl played a speed run, and it got so intense that the girl would kiss the boy in excitement or something. As you can guess, it was more of a fantasy idea. But later on, I started to think about that. Like, what if that was a story? Because gaming can get that intense. So I created this idea of a boy and a girl playing a game, but instead of them competing against each other, they would be playing with each other, trying to beat the final boss. It evolved from that, and I eventually expanded and created the idea for gamers. And I didn't even think I would get to it until a long time, until I was really good at animation skills. So, so one day I just decided to draw a frame from it, and it turned out the frame looked pretty good, and I tested out a feature that allowed me to create a boing line effect, like in Edda and Eddy. It's called graphics, and once I did that, it looked really cool. It looked like it was animated, even though it was a still frame. So I figured I'd animate the next shot of a mall, and birds are flying away. And then what happens after that? We obviously got to get a shot of the boy's face. He's all shocked and it's all funny, but then what happens after that? Well, we get a shot of her face and she runs away. And I just found myself animating the entire film, and when it comes to that, it doesn't matter what skill set I have now. I might as well just finish it because I've already started it. I've had that mindset for a while. If I start something, I might not finish it then, but I'm going to finish it eventually. Let's see. It's been like that ever since I was a kid. Oh yes, I love Ed and Eddy. Ed and Eddy is my favorite cartoon. Danny Antonucci, the creator, is my idol ever since I was a kid. Just for many reasons. The idea that he pitched his show to Nickelodeon and they accepted it, but they wanted creative control. Tell Danny Antonucci what to do, and he believed in his project so much he knew that he could do better. So he took it to Cartoon Network, and they did accept it, and they agreed to let Danny work at his own pace. Not to mention the show's really funny, and it ended with a really great movie. Tyler318. What did the tree do to access the internet? Ah, the tree will need to log in. Funny. Okay. Let's see. Gotta work on this arm. Let's just drag this down here. Maybe we can move this over, move that over, move it like that. Gotta lock this frame, this layer, and let's smooth that out like that. We'll just bring this line over here. Control X, Z, Control Shift V. Then we'll dye that green. Straighten that out. And move this over here. It's always about moving lines. Some artists work a bit differently than I do. Some are slower, some are faster. I'm not the fastest man alive, unfortunately. Speaking of fast, has anyone seen that Sonic the Hedgehog trailer? If you have, you already know what I think about Sonic the Hedgehog's design. But honestly, it just wasn't that good. It didn't even look like it was mortal. It was just an abomination. And you can't get any more clear than the fan trailer that Artur Baranov created, where he replaced the model with his own that was much more faithful to Sonic's design. It looked great. I'm not sure the movie would still be good even with that design, but at least Sonic would look good. Hopefully, when the next design is revealed, because they decided to replace the horrible design thanks to the fans, it'll look a lot better. Maybe even closer to Artur Baranov's version. Though, didn't they have some brand deal with Nike, and that's why they had to use those kinds of shoes? Which is a lame idea, but I wonder how that's going to go off if they end up changing the shoes or not. I know Jim Carrey's going to be in it. I've seen The Mask. That was funny. Ace Ventura. That was pretty funny too. Yes Man. I'm not sure that was a good movie. Haven't seen it in a long time, but yeah, haven't seen that many Jim Carrey movies. That one random person. Yes, I also think drawing notes would make a good anime. I would love to make an anime. In fact, if I were to, I would introduce more characters. I would explain more about other characters, and I wouldn't make the romance front and center. Oh, excuse me. I was saying this before, but drawing notes, I never imagined it as a romance kind of short film series. I always thought it was more of a traditional anime. How romance was always hinted at with some characters. It was on the side. But I realized with drawing notes, I didn't make any other stories. The romance was front and center. That's what the show was about. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, dang. But okay. I wrote drawing notes. I think I've said this so many times before, but I guess I'll say it here as well. Drawing notes was based off real life events where it's loosely based off real life events. The last chapter was based on how I had a friend who I used to pass notes to in high school. She was okay, and I liked her. And she wrote a note to me that just said, "Do you like me?" And I I saw the note, and I just can't believe she actually asked me that, to the point where I laughed at it. And I just felt bad at that ever since. I told her, I think of you more like a little sister I didn't have, but I don't like you that way. And she was cool with it. She was fine, but I didn't like what I did with laughing at the note. So I decided to change the ending so that instead of Ayato laughing at it, he actually put serious thought into it. So he pretty much learns from my mistake, or he doesn't make my mistake. He actually figures out a better way to handle the situation. Not to mention with him, he actually liked Kana. So it's a bit different. I gotta modify these hands. You know, hands aren't always easy for me. I've been learning how to do it. Sometimes I need to check references. Sometimes it doesn't always work out. I got... In fact, sometimes I check references for more than just hands. For poses, for ideas on clothing, all kinds of stuff. Baka Jr. I haven't seen Tokyo Ghoul. I have seen Parasite the Maxim. Most of it, at least. I dropped out towards the middle because it just got boring. It was very interesting starting out because the idea of a parasite that was supposed to take over your brain, but it fails, and instead you get these kind of powers and you have to fight other parasites. That sounds pretty cool. But it just got too preachy with talking about ideas and morals and like what is the meaning of life or something like that. I just once a show gets like that, I just try to drop. I just tend to zone out, and there's no point in me watching it because I forget what's the point of the show. And they also kept killing characters that they introduced. Right now, I'm more into The Promised Neverland. There's a new episode coming on tomorrow. Can't wait for that. Dang, everything's getting so intense. Really intense. Man. Oh, man, I hope Norman doesn't get shipped out, actually. That's going to be awesome. Cyrus Schwartzbrought Black, Undertale. I've never played it. I've seen a playthrough, and it looks like a good game. I don't think it's the best game ever. In fact, the story isn't exactly solid, but it's alright. I might play it in the future. I know it came out on PS4. I think it's out on Switch. If not, it's coming out. No, yeah, it's got to be out by now. That was a long time ago for that trailer. Friggin' hands! You know what? Screw it. I'll work on the hands later. Let's see. We gotta hide this arm so I can work on the body. Hide all these strands of hair. Drop down to the lowest layer. Now, let's work on this. Let's see. I think this might be 2 sections. What do you think? Oh, excuse me. Rosemary Jane, Sonic or Mario? I Dang, that's kind of hard. I guess I would say Sonic. He's just that much cooler. And Sega was always more like the cooler type. Even now, it just seems like they can make a good game if they put their if they work at it, but sometimes they just don't want to because they just I don't know, they're too cool. No, that doesn't sound right. But basically, Sonic is pretty cool. I like him. Not to say I don't like Mario. Mario's alright too. But he's more of a cartoon while Sonic is more of an anime. That's how I think of it. I don't like how small I made this. I'm going to make this bottom round thing bigger. You know, I still love cartoons, but I'm beginning to notice a pattern with some of the newer cartoons, at least on Cartoon Network. They've begun to feel more real, if that makes sense. If you look back to shows like Johnny Bravo, Ed and Eddie, Dexter's Lab, they're not they weren't so much about learning lessons or living life as much as just telling jokey stories that happen, and episodes didn't have to connect to each other. They didn't have to reference anything. And when they did, that was pretty cool because it would be like, oh, I watched that episode. I know what they're talking about. But now it's more like, you got to remember this episode if you want to know who this character is and what he's doing here and what everyone's working on. So, and that's fine. I'm into that, but it just seems like every show is like that. If there is a show that is more about just telling jokey stories, I'd love to check that out. A cartoon. Love cartoons. I also have my own ideas for cartoons. In fact, cartoons were really the first idea I ever thought of making. This one show I thought of would star a rabbit and his best friend a turtle, and that would be called Paws on the Rabbit. The idea would just be a cartoon, really. Um, about 10-year-old rabbit named Den is best friends with Turtle, who's new in class. He shows the turtle named Boj around the school, and we get to meet more characters, and they grow a friendship. I haven't worked on that idea since I was a kid, but it's definitely a show I'd love to work on if given the opportunity. I would definitely make it more of a show and less real life relatability. There will be some relatable moments, but it'll be mostly on telling jokes, using slapstick, and showing a funny story. Don't worry, Gengar. I will do more Girl Scout Demon Slayers. In fact, I am working on a secret Girl Scout Demon Slayers project. But I can't tell you too much about that. All I can say is, hopefully it turns out well. If it does, maybe I'll be able to post it on my YouTube account. And best case scenario, you might see more because of this project. But we'll see. Let's see, does that look good? I don't like this shoulder here. Let's eliminate some of these lines. I don't know. Let's shift this over. That looks alright. I think I'm going to save. That's a good amount. Gamerboy Gaming. Where have I been? Here, for the most part. If you mean what have I been doing, lots of stuff. It's a bit difficult to explain. Basically, got some problems going on, and gotta fix that. Also planning on going to college this year. Not sure if anyone's known this, but I still haven't actually been. I haven't gotten my degree in animation yet, and I got to go to college and get that. Finally was able to set a plan. Now, been working on some scholarship entries, which include some animations that I've actually uploaded to YowLife, but I can't make those public until I get the proper permission. So there are animations I have been working on. It's just not public yet. But aside from that, I've also been working on some essays and some other types of work. It's not all fun and games. Let's see. If this hand is clutching a controller, it would be going down, right? The curve of the fingers would be. That's how I look at it. And 5 fingers feels good. Yeah. That's it. Christian Joffrey. I'm sorry, man, if I get your name wrong. In fact, I'm sorry if I get other people's names wrong. But how do I get my ideas? Lots of places. Sometimes I watch a program on TV and I like the concept. I write it down. Maybe I'll come up with a story for it later. Other times I watch an anime, same idea, like some characters, some concepts, write it down. It's not always. Other times I just hang out with my friends, they say something, and maybe it lies in my subconscious, and think about it later and come up with an idea there. There's no real set area I get my ideas from. Very few times I get ideas from my dreams. I think the best one is this idea I have for a movie title that I think I'm gonna title Paranorma. The idea for this movie would be that it would take place in Victorian era, maybe London, some English country, so there would be some accents, and it would be about a boy who was riding through a forest on a carriage for some reason. And basically, the carriage breaks apart, and he is left in the forest. He falls out. Maybe he falls off a cliff or something, survives with his backpack, or maybe with nothing. Then he travels, finds a mansion, and he finds these mysterious people in this mansion. And he finds out they need his help because the evil baron of the mansion placed a curse on him so that they actually can't leave the mansion. And if he doesn't help, then he'll be under that same curse. There's a lot more to it than just that, but that's the basic gist. And I think it's not too bad of an idea, and that actually came to me in a dream. But the irony is, well, not the irony, it's just the dream. I don't know if anyone has dreams like this. Have you ever had a dream that was like a video game? Because this dream looked like a Nintendo 64 game to me. I still remember this one vivid level of going in a circle while all this furniture and stuff was launched at the player. And you had to escape because it was like a maze. But what I'm trying to get at is, it started as this weird Nintendo 64 dream, then I expanded upon it, and I figured I'll make it a movie. So look forward to that in the future. Hopefully that'll come out in theaters, I don't know, year 2025. Yeah, I don't want to set up bad goals. That doesn't look too bad. And this finger's bothering me. Alan and the Dog. Did I see the new Aladdin movie? No. I'm sorry I don't have anything more than that. Just no. I don't want to see it. The original Aladdin was pretty good. I don't see the point in watching it again. Cartoon Talk. Do I like Disney content, Nickelodeon content, or Cartoon Network's content? I will say Cartoon Network has a special place for me. But they don't have a great track record. Lest we forget the Dark Ages. Nickelodeon, and I don't know. They sort of forget about cartoons and shows they made. But they've had some good ones. My Life as a Teenage Robot comes to mind. That was a good show. There's also Cat Scratch. I don't know if anyone remembers that. It was by the guy who created an Earthworm Jim. Doug Tenable. I thought that was alright. No one seems to remember that show. Of course, they've had some stinkers too. But I won't get into that in case anyone is going to get all mad that I don't like their favorite show. Yeah, talk. Ink Sands Gaming, Dragon Ball. I thought so. I think it's okay. It's not. It's a little meatheaded, too meatheaded for me. Let's see here. How is this gonna look? Maybe like that. Hi Puffyama Yumi. Yes, Gengar, that was a great show. I love that. I'm really surprised Hi Puffyama Yumi didn't get its own anime. That was ripe for the picking for an anime. It was based on Japanese pop stars. It already had an anime aesthetic. It introduced lots of kids to Japanese culture. Myself included. Although, I think as a kid, there's a stigma around it with me and my friends thinking that it's a girl show. Because the main colors were pink and purple. The main characters were these two girls. It just... Right off... And the title looks pretty girly. But even so, it's still an appealing show. I think if I were to make a show that would be like that, I would try not to make it too pink and girly. Yeah, I guess that's the right way to put it. Let's see, at this angle, we really wouldn't see Julie's chest. So I think that's good enough. In fact, should this line be up there? Would that work? One way to get a better look at your drawings I would recommend doing is to zoom out on them. It really lets you analyze the drawing as it is. Let's see, let's get this color here. Load that up. It's not bad. Let's see. Let me load a circle here and get rid of the outline. Now I can see how that's going to work. I guess that's okay. For now, at least. Let's save that. Was it necessary for Disney to remake their Aladdin films into their animated films into live action films? No, it was not. And I see no real point to it. The obvious answer is they were made once, why make them again? The worst offender, I would say, is Lion King. that it's all animation when you really think about it. I'm not sure if they filmed anything. The most they probably did was just take the cameras out to some fields and just record nothing. But I'm not even sure if they really did that. That just seems like a waste of time. It's obviously, it can't be considered live action no matter how good they make it because it's not live action. They really just need to make some newer movies. It's not like there's a lack of ideas. I think they're just doing it now because they know it's safe. Ink Sands Gaming. All Might is Johnny Bravo. I saw that video too. That was funny. Good video. Whatever happened to Midoriya's dad? It's not like he doesn't exist. Don't they bring him up in the anime very few times? He's just not at the house. But do we ever see him? I guess I'll figure that out as the series goes on. New episode of My Hero Academia on tonight. That'd be awesome. Thank you, Jonathan Robertson. I'm glad you think my characters are cute, and I'm glad you like my videos. I work hard to make them. It really means a lot. Gamer Boy Gaming. Do I have a Discord? No, I do not. If I... Actually... I don't know. There might... I've made a lot of accounts. I might have a YowLife Discord, but I might not have done anything with it yet. I also have a YowLife Reddit. Still working on getting that looking good. Once it does look... Once I'm satisfied with it, I will make an announcement in my next animation. Ellen and the Dog was the favorite video I made so far. That's easy. My Spooky Boo. Reason being, best animated. Yeah, it's pretty much my best work right now. Or at least the best work I've uploaded to YouTube. I have other projects that I've been working on with better animation. Tyler318. There's already art of Julie playing a 3DS. I don't remember making art of Julie playing a 3DS, so maybe you could share that with me. Tank M. What social media do I have? I have a Facebook account. I have Twitter. I have Tumblr. Don't use that much. Maybe I should. I'll work on that. Try and get that going. Let's see. Pants leg. We'll be seeing the hole, so gotta make sure to make that round. When it comes to drawing, I'm mostly self-taught, but I think most people are. I don't know someone who says I was taught by this great artist when I was younger. Let's delete this outline. Get that going. Now let's smoothen it out. You know, thank goodness the smoothing tool exists. And I'm not just talking about for now. When I was working in high school, I didn't have a pen or a touchscreen laptop. I mean, I had to work with a mouse. And that can be challenging, but you can get used to it. And up until after high school, I found out there's a feature that smoothed out the lines. And I wish I knew about that in high school because it really made my work look much more clean. I guess that's a tip I'll use if you using a program to animate. See what kind of features it's got on there. Most importantly, if it's got a smoothing feature. Let's see, I'll make that. Like that. Now let's drop a circle in here. Make that dark, just because I feel like it. Turn it to the side. Put it here. Let's distort it a bit. Yeah, that's decent, I guess. But no one likes a perfect circle. So let's smoothen that out a bit. That's funny. Okay. Now we gotta work on the shoe. For the longest time, I didn't really put that much detail in the shoes. Even right here, it's just two shapes. But I really got to update it a bit. Most shoes are like this peanut shape. So, let's start out with that. Let's see if I can make a shoe here. Let's smoothen this out. Try and get that looking pretty decent. You know, Zaxicon Boomface. Lots of people bring up. Some people bring up that when they watch my Laura Vicious film because I use lichen in there. I've never seen that show, but it's interesting how people bring that up sometimes. In fact, with Laura Vicious, the idea behind that was I wanted to make a short film for Halloween. In fact, the main reason I wanted to make that short film was actually for a contest. That's right. Laura Vicious was created to be entered in a contest. And if you look into it, you'll actually find out what contest that was for. But, so that was the main reason I had to get it done in time for Halloween. But it didn't end up winning. I don't understand why. And even I was never able to get a clear answer as to why they didn't like my film. But I'm glad so many others liked it. At least, no, I didn't make it for nothing. Then again, I'll just make it anyway. I like making films. It's just so great that I have a fan base. With Laura Vicious, I originally designed her to be more of an emo goth girl. One that rebels against her parents, doesn't want to do what they say, and a remnant of that is in the film, with the line, "Why can't you do that?" That line was meant for when Laura was basically acting mean towards her father, saying that, "Why can't you get your milk? Why do I have to get it?" But I had this realization that we have a lot of emo, rebellious girls, especially with vampires. In fact, we already have a lot of goth girl vampires with Mavis and that one girl that was in the Scooby-Doo special. And there's also Wednesday from Addams Family. She's not a vampire, but she's still a gothic kind of girl. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to do something different. I'm going to make my vampire nice. I'm going to make everyone in the neighborhood know her and friendly with her. And that's how Laura's basic idea was created. Let's see, how's that look? Maybe. Icebro Gamer says hi. Well, hello to you. I think the first cartoon crush I've ever gotten was on Lola from Space Jam, but I think lots of people had that. She was obviously, you know, a hot kind of character. That was pretty much her main character trait. And I really hate what they did with her in the newer, in that Looney Tunes show. That wasn't very good. What they did with her. I've never actually seen a lot of that Looney Tunes show. So I don't know if on the whole it's good or if it's bad. I just know that I don't like Lola. Village Strike 218. You can call me Chrisen. It's like saying Kristen, but without a T. Accelerator from Toryu no Machido Index. I probably butchered that name, but no, I do not know that anime or manga, and I don't know that character, so I'm sorry I can't talk about it, but I'll pretend to talk about him. He's a bully. I don't like him. He goes too fast, and he has a cocky personality. Am I right? Am I close to right? I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm not right. Let's see. Working on the booty. Delete that. Let's see. Actually, am I even happy with this? I'm not really that happy with this. This, I mean, needs to be more pronounced. Ellen and the Dog was my favorite movie. Not sure. Right now, at the top of my head, I'd say Ed and Eddie's Big Picture Show. That was a good movie, but I think I am saying that mostly because I really love Ed and Eddie, and that's a little unfair. So if we're gonna go with just a movie on its own and no show, I think a good one is Back to the Future. That's pretty good. I can watch that on most days, not get tired of it. Kind of want to watch it right now. Maybe I'll check it out after this stream if I have the time. Probably don't have time. I gotta go to a baby shower. Oh, yeah. My cousin announced she's having a baby. Yay! But she has lots of babies, honestly. I'm sorry. It's just, we've already done this like a few years ago. Or like last year. Let's see. Man, I hate myself. I didn't design the lower leg. Then again, should I design the lower leg? I don't know. The lower leg isn't even on the frame. I'll figure that out later. Right now, I'll just focus on this. Here's what I'll do. Sometimes I create a union out of certain parts so that I can go into them individually and modify them. Like this. Let's see. Gotta get rid of that. It's not looking right. Got to modify this. Ellen and the Dog. Why did I start YouTube? That seems pretty obvious. I wanted to share my work. It all started on YouTube. It all started with Captain A. That was a series I made when I was in high school. Pretty much what happened was I was a big fan of... I started to watch Captain N. Actually, it goes back further. I got into retro gaming culture, and I found out about Captain N, and I started watching that and I started really liking the idea. Then one day, I found this jacket at the end of the school year what happens is there's a lost and found at my school, and at the end of the school year, if no one finds their lost and found items, they just donate it to the homeless shelter, something like that. They donate all the contents. So I just check it out, try. They're gonna get rid of stuff anyway. Might as well see what I can get. And I found this really awesome jacket. It looks so slick, so sweet, and no one else is gonna get it. And it fit, so I took it. Now, it looked good, but I wanted to make it look better. So I decided I would modify it so that it would have a bunch of stuff that are related to video games. So I figured, okay, I would either make this one Atari related or Nintendo 64 related, because I love the Nintendo 64. I chose Atari because it was red. Yeah, I'm not very creative with that. Once I chose that idea, I decided to start working on it, and I got it to look... I thought it looked really cool, and a bunch of my friends thought so too. Looking back, I don't think it's actually... When I look at it now, it's a little convoluted, actually, with how I placed everything. But it's pretty cool. So I decided, you know what I could do? I could make a show like Captain N, but with Atari. I could call it Captain A for Atari. And that sounded awesome. So I started work on that, and I was really just going to make it kind of like a review show, because that seemed to have been what was going on at the time. I was inspired by the Irate Gamer. So I decided to make it a review show, but I wanted it to be more story driven in a little bit, in the fact that why is he called Captain A? Why is he the captain of Atari? He enters Atari games and defeats evil glitches. That sounded pretty awesome. So I decided to start making that idea, and I really was a bit too ambitious with this. And like I said earlier in the stream, you don't want to be too ambitious. With that, I wanted to make this an entire series. So I did the first episode, and with that, I didn't even have a belt. I just threw all the wires of the controllers around my waist and tied it together. And I went over to Videoland and just fought evil glitches like that. Later on, I found out about this other show. I think it was while I was exporting or rendering one of my films at school. I was so bored, I started looking up, Captain N stuff, and I found this other show called Captain S. And it was for Sega, and I just thought to myself, oh my god, it would be amazing if I could do a crossover of these guys. Look at what they're doing. This is almost like what I'm doing. So I contacted the creator of that. His name was Chad Williams, and I asked if we could do a crossover. He said the show was over and they don't have plans to make crossovers. That was really disappointing. Honestly, it was probably for the best too, because I was in high school, and trying to do a crossover like that, probably not the best idea. Man, this is a bit too big of a booty for like a sophomore age girl. Tyler 318. It's going to be 4 Central Time, not where you are. So, or 5 Central Time, I mean. That's when the stream should end. I think that's a bit better. I don't know. I will say Julie does have a big posterior, but it's not that big. Oh yeah, some people might say I make thick characters. I guess I do, but I don't really mean to do it. Honestly, I kind of have a problem with making thick limbs, I guess. Just limbs that look like they support the character. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay, I lie. I do think there's something wrong with that. I gotta fix this. I can't keep drawing characters with big limbs, big legs. It's not like everyone like that. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. So, like I was talking about before, not only am I a fan of cartoons and anime, but of course I also have a love for video games. I am a retro game collector. I collect a lot of old systems. In fact, whenever someone asks me what kind of systems do I have, I just have one response: all of them. That's right, because I almost have all of them. There's a few I don't have. But I've been collecting video game systems for a while, and video games in general, because I really love video games. I think my favorite game... let's start small. With Zelda, my favorite game is either Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, or Minish Cap. Majora's Mask just has so much. The stakes are higher than they ever been. You're not just saving the land, you're saving the world. The world is gonna die unless you do something. Unless Link saves the day. So, the stakes are the highest they've ever been in that game. Twilight Princess, I played it more recently, and I found that it's just more... You save the world, you save the land, but no one seems to care. Because, think about it. No one else sees Midna other than Zelda. No one else knows the land's in trouble after you save them from the Twilight. Or if they do know, they don't... The townspeople don't know. Once Link saves the land, nothing changes. He just stopped Ganon. And that's it. With Ocarina of Time, yes, Ocarina of Time, that's really how it's pronounced. The stakes were a bit higher because Ganondorf already destroyed the land. His influence was everywhere. But with Twilight Princess, he wasn't around until the end of the game, and at that point, you just kill him. So the stakes weren't as high in that game. JR Swag 928. Something about finding a girlfriend that's also interested in video games. I'm not sure that's very likely. And my reason being is because my definition of video games is more descriptive. I don't think a person... It goes like this. If you have someone in school who's really good at math, they want to say they're one of the smartest kids in school, while neglecting that there are other subjects like social studies and science and language arts, things like that. But I say if they get an A in math but an F everywhere else, then they're not one of the smartest kids in school. They're a smart kid, but they're well versed in one subject. And the same goes for video games. You can be well versed in a game or a genre, but you're not well versed in all video games, so I don't think you would be a gamer. You just be a person that likes video games. And I think that's fine. But anyway, finding a girl that is interested in video games, as in a lot of video games, different genres, different kinds of characters, different games in general, that is hard, because not just because of a stigma saying that girls don't like video games. I don't even think that's true. I think there are lots of girls who like video games, but it's finding a girl who likes more than one type of game. That is hard. But it's also hard finding a friend who likes more than one type of game that you do. So it's not just the fact that it's hard to find a girl. It's hard to find someone in general like that. Working on the bangs a bit, trying to get that looking good. Something some fans may not know is I have a character named Serenity Patterson. She made her debut appearance in the YowLife Q&A for gamers, but what you may not know is that she didn't originally... The voice actress for her didn't originally audition to be Serenity. She auditioned for Julie. She says that she was a real big gamer and decided that she should audition because she really liked the character, and even said that the character reminded her so much of herself. And I really like that. When I get someone to say this character acted a lot like me, or this was so relatable, that makes me glad, because that means it worked. Because I'm trying to make relatable stories, and if I can do that, then I've accomplished my goal. So she auditioned for Julie, but the main problem was she sounded very mature and seductive. I don't know if she was trying to do that, so I asked her to send me another take that was more like a 15-year-old girl. She did, but she still sounded very mature and seductive. So I decided, you know what? She can be mature and seductive without even trying. And I have this character that's going to host the Q&A anyway. Actually, no, I have this character that is mature and seductive, and I can have her host the Q&A. So I decided to ask if she was interested in that. She said yes. Sent over the character, some lines, and rest is history. She may not voice the character forever. I'm sad to say that, because I've had other voice actors quit on me. But so far, she's done good. And she also considers herself a gamer. I don't mind that. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Cartoon talk. The reboot age of cartoons has always begun.
Of course, my evil plan to reboot all the cartoons of when we were young has finally come to fruition.
But anyway, the reboot age of cartoons. Yeah, I guess. I mean, some shows don't need to be rebooted, but I do think some kids today do need to know about them. And I guess rebooting them is the easiest way to do it. I don't get it. There are some reboots I actually really like, and others I really hate. But I have a strict rule. I'm not allowed to hate on a show unless I've watched a good amount of it and come to my own conclusion. I can't just see an announcement that they made and they go, we're going to reboot the show. And I'm not going to go, oh man, that's terrible. This show sucks. Because I haven't seen the show. I try not to do that, and I think I've been doing a good job of not doing that. Excuse me. Let's see. Let's get some colors in here. Still not sure about this butt cheek here. It doesn't really match the spine. Anyway, so some reboots I'm gonna check out. Not sure if they'll be good. Thundercats Roar. I vaguely remember watching the original Thundercats on Toonami when I was a kid, but I didn't really think it was that great of a show. I just thought it was on, might as well watch it. That's what my brothers were watching. Might as well put it on, see if we like it. We used to watch a lot of shows together. So, Thundercats Roar, I'll check it out. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll blow. We just don't know. Teen Titans Go. I gave that a shot. That failed. And I can't believe it's still on. I mostly can't believe that some kids actually like that. I've talked to a few, and they actually said, you know, they love Teen Titans Go. I ask why, and they just say because it's funny. I think that's terrible. Powerpuff Girls. Guess it's okay. I don't know. Let's see. Wasn't there another one? Ben 10. I haven't seen that, but I was a huge Ben 10 fan. Still am, kinda. But I'm more a fan of the original series. With the original Ben 10, the idea of the show was pretty cool. That this kid had this device that turned him into different aliens. And he could fight evil just like that. He was the main character. And I've always wanted a show like that. Of a kid that... adults have to depend on the kid to save the day. Lots of superheroes are all about a adult man or a teenager who gets superpowers and has to figure out what to do. But Ben 10 was really good with the fact that it wasn't a teenager, it was a kid. He has a lot of learning to do, and he doesn't want to always do the right thing. He has some selfish ideas of his own, like everyone does. And it was a really good idea. I love that show. I call it an anime because it pretty much fits with that. I can explain more about that if you want. Lord Huguenot. Thoughts on Mystery Ben 27? Oh, wait, that's the animator, right? The one that made the, what's it called? I can do this. Ghost. Mystery Skulls. That's him, right? Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that show. I'm calling it a show, but maybe it's more of a series, but that's pretty cool. I like the designs, the colors. It's very vibrant. And obviously it's got good music, but I think the music is more of a different band. I wonder what it's going to be now. The original music video was more in and of itself. It was a little bit like a parody of Scooby-Doo, and it had a bit of a story with it. And the next one expanded on that story, but I hope the series doesn't just turn into every episode is just expanding on the story. If you were to go to episode 6, you should be able to figure out what's going on. You shouldn't need to watch previous episodes to do that. I think that's part of making good storytelling, even with music videos. JR Swag. Ben has over 1 million aliens with all of his shows combined. I guess, but I don't count anything past the original Ben 10. I watched Alien Force, and that is not Ben. That's not my Ben. He's so boring. And also the designs are ugly. Gwen, I don't buy that. I don't buy that she would look like that, even as a teenager. Her lips are really ugly to me. I'm sorry if you like that show. It's just, she's not very attractive. Let's see. This leg's too big. So I'm going to modify this. Maybe like that, maybe? Just grab this, drag it over here. Over here. Adrian Cortines. Who is my favorite Adventure Time character? At the top of my head, Root Beer Guy. Mostly because he solved a mystery. No one believed him. He proved them all wrong. And then he had a terrible, stupid death. Once I saw that episode where he died, and I just started, screaming, "Root Beer Guy!" It was so terrible. I liked him. He was cool. He was a bit serious. Oh yeah, and his wife was hot. But mostly because she was cream soda. And I love cream soda. Cream soda is the best drink ever made, honestly. It's like God water. Yeah. Does cherry cream soda even exist? I know there's red cream soda, but I don't think that's cherry. Let's see, let me curve this out more. I think Julie's hair would be curved out more. Okay, I think this is looking pretty decent. Let me click on this, open that. Okay, time to work on the eye. The eye is always a specific process. Basically, I draw a line about the size of the eye, then I turn that into a symbol. So Julie eye 1 closed, like that. Straighten that out. Copy. Paste. Paste again. Okay, check out. Avthen Diary. I just want to say you're one of my favorite anime like YouTuber. Oh, thank you. That's so nice. I'm really glad to have people that like my films. It's really great. I really wish I had that about 3 years ago. That's when I really needed it, Danny Phantom. I used to like Danny Phantom when I was a kid. But the art style is one that I get tired of. It's just... I don't know. It has its fans. In fact, I'm not saying I'm not a fan. I like Danny Phantom. I just can't watch it all the time. One of my irks is when they do a soda can and they make the top of it flat. The top line of the can is flat while there's another line that's round. I hate that. That's not how it works. That's not what it would look like. And that really irks me. I know it's a design choice. I know, there's nothing anyone can do about it. And it's just, I just don't like that. But it's not like I'm going to hate the show for it. It's just, I'll watch it. But I can't watch it all the time. If that makes sense. I don't know. I'm kind of just talking about anything at this point. Okay, so we got the eyelash looking good here. Now, let's create an illusion of an eyelid. We'll do that. Curve that out. Get rid of that. Okay, move that there. I haven't been playing many video games recently, mostly because I got lots of other stuff to work on. But I actually have a shelf full of video games. and about 4 shelves full of video games that I have to play, or that I want to play. Man, I really feel bad when I look at that shelf and I still haven't gotten to those games. Hopefully I'll be able to get to them this year. We'll see about that. Okay, that looks pretty decent. I think what I'm going to do is create another layer. And let's see. Going to create a slightly different color of an eyelid. This. Avon Diary. So, dude, I love your vampire girl. She's so cute. Also, no offense, but her dad makes me think of Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's really weird. Of all characters, why Iroh? Iroh was a cool, calm thinking man. He had a lot of advice. But Mike Vlad from Lord Vicious is a rude kind of vampire who makes his daughter go out to get him milk in that film. He's separated from his wife. It's like, seriously? But I'm glad you really liked that film. I worked really hard to make it. With Vlad, I actually designed him to look a bit unique as a vampire. You might notice that his fangs are more like tusks when you think about it because they go up. Well, while most vampires, when they have fangs, it goes down. So I figured maybe I can do it differently and make it look good. And I think it looks okay. Speaking of looking okay, this does not look okay. Reason being is because you wouldn't see an eye that perfect from the side. You'd actually see it more scrunched in. So, maybe that. I don't know. Still, the eye's a little wrong. Gotta fix that up. Zero punctuation. Is that an anime? I'm sorry, I haven't seen that. Avatar: The Last Airbender. I like the original series. That was a good anime. And yes, I am calling that an anime. Because it's just obviously, it's got dynamic angles and shots. And I feel that's what makes an anime. If it's animated with camera angles and positions of characters that move, then that's what defines an anime. Cartoons usually have static camera angles. Ice Bro Gamer. Would you make a sequel to Passing Notes? Maybe, but what's Passing Notes? I've never made something called Passing Notes, unless you're talking about Drawing Notes. Drawing Notes is over. I might make a remake of it in the future. And with that remake, that might be its own series. There we go, that looks okay. All I gotta do is tint it and use some alpha, and it's a bit of a different color. I think that looks okay. Let's acquire Julie's hair color. Some of my characters, I give them specific hair outlines. I feel it makes them stand out a bit more. In fact, for that eye color, I got this shading color here. I'll just go into the eye and dye it that. There we go. That's simple. That fixes everything. Now, I want to save that. This program has a bit of an issue where it crashes on me, and I hate that. Man, I hate it when it crashes. Cartoon Talk, reboot of DuckTales. That's nice. I never saw DuckTales. I've heard of it, because lots of 80s people want to talk about it. But, Yeah, I'll check out that new DuckTales. Maybe it's good. Adlin Giantur, you consider Avatar an anime? Thank you. I also do. Adrian Cortines, favorite show, Chalk Zone. Heck yeah, that was an awesome show. Really wish they would come out with a sequel series to that. Or maybe if you're gonna reboot a show, reboot Chalk Zone. Just the idea of a kid whose drawings come to life was really awesome to me as a kid. I wanted my own drawings to come to life. I even had my own chalkboard, and I figured if I draw on this chalkboard, maybe they will come to life. It only worked once. I'm not sure if I can say what program I'm using, but lots of people might be able to figure that out. And if not, I'll tell you later. Man, I'm just really, this butt cheek is really irking me. I'm not sure it's looking right. No, it's too. Maybe if I just erase some of the line. No, I'll figure it out. You know what? I think that's. Now let's work on this mouth. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna modify and combine this to a union. Copy that and paste this on top, just in case if I mess up. Now let's go into this. Figure out where to start. Think around here. This is good. Now let's bring this in. Nope. Now let's try that out. Still no. Just gotta make this. I'm always picky when it comes to making characters kiss. It's just, there's a certain way to make it look really good. Kissing, I don't think, is like two characters touching lips. That's just stupid. Kissing is more of a passionate embrace. It's really awesome when you can make it look really cute. So why not? So I'm always trying to make it look really good, and in doing so, it makes me take a lot of time. DGMK Order 66. Ruby. Ruby? I think that's how you pronounce it. Not so much, really. I haven't seen that much of that show. I know it exists. It's by the guy who made Haloid, I think. Yeah, I'm really glad. Really, what's this? The butt cheek is really irking me. Yeah, you can put that on a t-shirt. Yes, Bartix, I'm a true kissing expert, of course. Thank you. But seriously, this should really go up. I'll put that there. And make this curve in. And just get this to go right. Lucid Boy 153 Tome. I'm not sure what that is. I'll assume that's an anime because I've been mostly referring to animes or anime, but I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. I have strict rules on what anime I want to watch. One, I don't really like. Gonna start over that. I don't really like harems because the main characters just get. I like it when there's one character we know is going to get with the main character, or that we want to get with the main character. I don't like it when they set up a bunch of girls that could get with the main character, and then at the end of the show, he doesn't pick which one he wants to go with, or he gets all of them, or something stupid like that happens, or... I don't like that because I don't know anyone who's had that in high school, and I know it's more of a fantasy idea, but I still don't like it. So I tend not to watch harems. There's some anime I like that are pretty much harems, like Is This a Zombie? That's good, but I don't like that they're making it a harem. And I hope that they'll come up with another season, even though who knows when that's going to happen. Let's see. That's looking a lot better. Maybe if I move that inward... Nah, not like that. It's not bad. Maybe I'll smooth out this corner. That's really... Could be better. That one random person. You should watch 7 Deadly Sins? I guess. As long as it's not a harem, for one thing. Also, I don't like it when an anime keeps killing people they introduce. That, like Parasite, the Maxim. That started out really interesting. I was starting to get into it. And then stuff happens. They kill his mom. And at first I'm like, oh no. But then he meets this girl. And then she dies. It's like, what was the point of introducing her again? And I just find myself getting less and less interested. I'm not really into that much blood and gore type of anime, actually. I am interested in demons and stuff like Inuyasha. That was a pretty good anime. But I don't like it when the whole anime is, like, killing and... Elfen Lied. I've heard of that anime, and that is really messed up. I don't recommend watching it because it's really, really gory. I'm not really that much of a fan on blood and gore. I think I'm getting this mouth going. Key is to make it round for me. I have different art styles that I use for different projects. I don't believe in having one house art style. It's much better to have a variety so your projects all look different. Yeah, I'm gonna go back. That doesn't look as good as I thought it would. I'm always so picky when it comes to this. You know, I was pretty good at math in high school. Zaxicon Boomface says he hates math, though. Well, that's not good. Let's see. Is that going to look good? So I suppose one thing some people want to hear about is Gamers 2. And I can talk about that if you want. I'm not going to tell you the entire plot synopsis or anything, but I can tell you what I've been working on. Just a little bit. The basic idea... is loosely based off the one when I was... Okay, I'm still losing my train of thought here. In 2014, after I finished the original Gamers film, I did immediately have the idea to create a sequel. I quickly wrote up an idea of what that would be and even posted a teaser on my DeviantArt, which is kind of funny, and it says, "Coming maybe if I feel like it." So, the idea with a Gamers 2, I think that's good enough for now. Let's work on Matt. Go down here, X that out. Now let's get up here. In fact, even more so, I'm going to take all the frames I've made for Julie and put them in their own folder. And I'm going to label that Julie and make everything simpler. Anyway, with Gamers 2, the idea was that I would make Matt go to school, and at school, he finds out a prom's coming up. He invites Julie to go to the prom because Julie doesn't actually go to the school. Julie goes to a different school. But Julie says she can't go. The film I'm working on is similar to this, but I changed some ideas from the original script because I think they're too forced and doesn't make sense. There's actually going to be a flashback that I thought of where Matt finds Julie in the closet, kind of, because they went to the same elementary school, of course, and Matt had his Game Boy, and he heard Julie playing Pokemon in the closet, and asked if she wanted to trade Pokemon. So he feeds her a link cable. She gets it, and she trades a Pokemon with this mystery person, and they fight and stuff. Pokemon fight, and then Matt leaves, and Julie never finds out who that boy was, and technically she never does in the film. So I didn't understand the point of even adding the scene in, just to show they had chemistry even back then. I don't know. That doesn't even sound realistic. Like, who even does that? So I changed it up a little bit from the original script. And it's gonna... I think I'm gonna make it deal more with social anxiety. Like, she doesn't want to go to the dance because there's a lot more people there. And she gets really nervous around people. Maybe. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to come up with something. And I'll let everyone know once I have the initial script written and production on the way. Don't worry. I'm going to ensure it's really good. And I'm also going to make a promise that you can watch it even if you don't know the language English. Life is games. Will they both talk or bubble talk in Gamers Part 2? You're going to get a little of both. If you ever played Banjo-Kazooie, you'll probably know what I mean. That's all I'll say on that. Actually, why don't I bring up Banjo-Kazooie? I'd say if you ever played Wind Waker, you know what I mean. If I did it like Banjo-Kazooie, you'd be a little annoying, I think. So we'll start out with Matt and his weird bangs that just point in one direction. One direction. That could be... interesting. What? I also wanted to bring up that Gamers 2, or what I'm going to call it, which I can't announce right now, Gamers 2 is not the only project that I've thought of with Matt and Julie. I am thinking of doing other stuff with these characters, but I want everyone to know they're not going to be my main characters. They're not the main focus of my channel, but they are going to be a big focus. And my work isn't just going to be all this romance kind of projects. I do like romance, but honestly I can get really tired of it. So I think I might focus on more films that tell different kinds of stories, like sad stories, or maybe even a bit of action, but action takes a while for me to make. If you've ever seen my Project Split Figure the movie, there's some action scenes in that. Honestly, they could be better, but even those action scenes took a while for me to design. If anyone wants to know why I chose the names Matt and Julie, it's because it's obvious to tell who's who with those names. I didn't want to call them something that could be used for both a boy and a girl, like Sam or Alex. Because if I did that, people would say, "Oh, I guess this guy is Sam and that girl is Alex," or maybe that guy is Alex and this girl is Sam, and stuff like that. I wanted something that was very obvious. So Matt, commonly used for boys; Julie, commonly used for girls. That's pretty much it. And honestly, if I could go back, I would change their names to be a bit more creative. I would still choose more masculine and feminine names, but it would be a bit different. Mostly because when you put a ship name between them together, you get either Mally or Matley, and I guess that's okay, but it's not cute enough. I think it could have been better, and I'm using that idea when I design my characters now. When I name them, I make sure that if there are characters that I want the fans to ship them with, I'm gonna make sure they would have a cute ship name to further influence the idea. That's right. That's right. I'm steering you all into shipping whoever I want you to ship. No, I'm just kidding. So, let's see. Just gonna throw in some sharp ends here. You know, Matt has a very triangular head shape. He's got this hair that just points out. He could probably fight someone with his hair just by like stabbing them. Oh, that reminds me. There's gonna be a new Final Fantasy game coming out with Cloud Strife. I played the original Final Fantasy VII, and I thought it was pretty good. I really liked it a lot. It had some good twists that really shocked me. I won't spoil them here if you haven't played the game, but definitely check it out. Or check out the remake that's coming out God knows when. I think they dropped a trailer a few days ago. Gotta watch that. Man, I haven't been able to watch that many stuff lately. Dang. Things always seem so much simpler when you're a kid. When I was a kid, I figured once I was done with school, I'd just be playing video games all day, every day. Yeah, let's see how well that turned out. My pile of unplayed games begs to differ. Let's see. The animator on YouTube. How am I? I'm good, I guess. Just trying to keep everything going. Still got a lot of work to do outside of animations. I'm sorry that I can't keep uploading videos. In fact, I do have an animation that is ready, but I can't release it because I need permission to release it. This animation is really a cartoon, though. I guess I can tell you what it's about. It's a cartoon I made on how to move. It's for a company that basically asked for it for a scholarship, and I gotta get me some scholarships for college. So, with that, yeah, I hope they choose it, but otherwise, I'm gonna try and post it onto YouTube in some shape or form. That way there's at least something there. It's a cartoon, so it's a lot different from my usual videos, and it's also going to have me voicing the guy, mostly because I couldn't get a voice actor for many reasons. So I voiced him, and if I can get that out, you guys can see it, and tell me what you think. Maybe you think it sucks, but at least it'll be out. Adrian Cortines. Has anyone heard of Symbiotic Titan? Seen the ending of that show? I don't believe that show actually had an ending. Didn't they cancel it before it could even finish? That's sad. I haven't seen much of that show. I know it was made by Genndy Tartakovsky, who created Dexter's Laboratory. But I guess I could check it out. The designs look okay. There's some designs that I just can't stand. If anyone's seen the Total Drama series, I just don't like the designs of those characters. They look pretty disturbing. Just trying to get his hair looking good. Maybe I'll curve it down. Yeah, that looks alright. Like that, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Let me just drag myself up to Julie and get rid of her. Honor. You need to hire some people. Yes, I know. I'm still open for applications if you want to work for YowLife as an animator. Need some experience, of course. Also, I have a Patreon open, and it would really help if I can get some people to donate to that. Hiring animators does cost a lot of money, and my Patreon is centered on just paying for the animators. So if you really want more animations, I really think helping me out by donating is the best way to get those out faster. With more donations means I can hire more animators, means you get more animations. I'd say it's a win-win. Otherwise, you're just going to make me do it, and we all know how long that's going to take with all the stuff I'm doing. I can't tell you what college I'm going to. I don't think I should, at least. That's a little weird, but it's an animation college, and it's not Cal Arts. I tried applying to Cal Arts, but of course they rejected me for some reason. I think the best revenge I could get on Cal Arts would be if I can get one of my films produced and it outdoes a Cal Arts student. If that makes sense.
All about revenge.
Also all about water.
Tasty.
Does anyone remember the anime Code Lyoko? It's more of a French-Canadian show, and some people don't call it an anime, but I do. But I thought it was pretty good. The theme song was awesome. And I really wish it had more attention. Also, it was really good, and it really deserved... If you're going to reboot something, that's not a bad choice. But you got to make it more anime-like, I'd say. I think my favorite character on that was Odd, because he was so funny. He was the comic relief of the show, pretty much. I still remember that one part in an episode where Jeremy puts in the disc into the computer, and it turns out to be Odd's stupid music video of breakdance. That was funny. So what I've done here is sometimes I just use 2 circles to create the head, one for the cheek, one for the base, and after that I just get another color, paste it on top, make it a bit smaller, and we have a head. That looks... actually, it could be moved. Let's try moving the head. I always want to move a head. Okay. Get rid of that. Let's save the progress here. Let's see. Cartoon talk. Have you seen the Vampire Knight YowLife? Is that in anime? If it is, no, I'm sorry, I haven't seen that. Wonder if it's good. Maybe I'll check it out. I think I've been recommended a bunch of shows, this stream. Slug Terra. Sounded dumb on paper, but was actually enjoyable. Really? I guess I'll have to check that out. Real quick. Let's see. I'm going to be right back. Just got to take a leak. But feel free to ask some more questions, make some suggestions, and I'll be back in about, 5 minutes. Don't worry. Alright, I'm back. Just had to bleed that lizard. I didn't like that. I didn't like him, so he had to pay. Now, I guess I'll work on Matt's hair. Let's see. Just select this. Get rid of that. Okay, let's start working on the eyes. Matt's eyes. He's got a very shocked expression here, right? So we got to make sure to emphasize that. So let's create a symbol of that. Go with Matt I1. Always got to turn these into symbols, graphics. Makes things easier in the long run. Okay. Matt's a big gamer, but he's not the best at video games. He's just really interested in the genre. So I'm not gonna, if I would introduce tournaments into the gamer's universe, I do like the idea of having Matt enter a tournament, but I don't want him to win. I just want him to enter it and find out that other people are really good at games and they treat them really seriously. and he has to figure out if he wants to play the game that serious and basically try and beat these guys at the tournament. And maybe if I were to do a concept like that, I would also have it so that Matt pretty much learns that if he's doing this, he doesn't even remember why he's playing the game anymore or why he liked the game in the first place. He's just playing it to try and beat everyone else. And I think there's a lesson there of when you're playing a game, first, it's okay to want to win, but try to have fun. Don't try to play video games just because other people are doing it and you want to be better at them at the game. You got to make sure if this is a game you really like and you actually want to invest all that time in. And I think some people don't see that. Let's see. We gotta give Matt his pupil here. Actually, I think I already created one. I'll go to my library, enter pupil. You know, something I didn't realize until later, everyone talks about how Julie has red eyes and how that's rare. You realize Matt has blue eyes, right? And I don't think that's all that common on a brown-haired person. I don't know. Anybody in the chat got brown hair and blue eyes? See about that. So, speaking of eyes, we'll dye that. Go here, Control-Shift-V, make that 50. Shrink that. Goes up top. In fact, Control-5. Yeah, Control-5, Control-2. That centers it. Let's bring this to the top. And dye that white. And there we have Matt's pupil. Kind of sound like Steve from Blue's Clues. I really loved Blue's Clues as a kid. That was a great show. In fact, I'm excited to see that new series they got going on. Although, I find it hard to accept this Josh guy as the new host, because I'm more faithful to Steve. Even Joe wasn't that great, honestly. Also, I don't think many people even notice this, but if you want to include Joe's time on the show, it brings out a lot of problems. There's an episode of Blue's Clues where they show everyone as babies. And I mean everyone as babies, except for Steve. They got Slippery Slide, or what was his name? Slippery Soap. They got Tickety Talk. They got Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper. Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper are adults, actually, but everyone else are babies, including Joe. And Steve's there as a kid. But what I don't get is, wait, Joe is an adult in Blue's Clues. That's at least 20 years later. That means all our characters that we've known aren't kids. They're 20-year-old people. Tickety Talk, she's old, she's like just the same age as Joe. Everyone is pretty much the same age as Joe. And also, who's the parents? The only adults there were Mr. Salt and Mrs. Pepper. Wait a minute. Are you saying they're the parents of Steve and Joe? That is just crazy. So, but with that, okay. Now, I think we're back. So, if you're just, you're still with me, thank you. But what happened was, actually, I'm not sure what happened, but basically, as you can see, some of my progress was lost. It's a good thing I saved at a certain point there. Gonna have to work on that eye again. It kind of blows, but whatever. It's not like it can go back in time. So, if we're all good, if we're all caught up, let's get back to it. Now, one thing I just thought of that I want to bring up. I like to go to Comic-Cons and conventions, anime conventions, and one I went to recently had a voice actor you might know by the name of Steve Bloom. Steve Bloom is a voice actor, talented, and he's voiced many characters you might know. One I can think of right now is Tom from Toonami. And there's this very specific reason why I wanted to meet him at this convention. Reason being was because, first off, he was the voice of Tom and also Jamie from Mega XLR. I just wanted to meet him in general. But other than that, he sent my oldest brother, a video when our other brother passed away, and basically it was a really nice gesture of him. My oldest brother just asked him if he could, and he decided sure, and he did, and that was really nice. So one thing I wanted to do was I animated on top of that video he made, and I wanted to show it to him at the convention. Long story short, I did, and it was probably the hardest thing I ever had to do because of many reasons you could probably guess. But Steve Bloom was really cool. You know, he asked if he could hug me, and that was really awesome. Showed him some of my work, and he really wants to, and he said he'd be interested in voicing some of my animations at some point. So, look forward to that. Not sure. I have some ideas that he could be used for, but I think I should save it until I'm producing an actual show. One that's a lot more professional than these YouTube short films. I really like going to anime conventions, meeting tons of people. Really, really good. Sometimes I get to show my work there and they invite me to go. That's really awesome. One that I was at was called KanjiCon. I made a video for that announcing it, so some of you might already know what I'm talking about when I bring that up. It's located in New Mexico. It's a pretty good convention. Definitely recommend going to it. There's actually one problem I find at conventions all the time when they want to show my work. It's that it never goes smoothly. There's always a problem with the audio, the microphone, the visual. The worst one was when I was at the Albuquerque Comic Con, and nothing against them. It's a great convention, but it was when I was trying to show my animations there. The main problem that happened was they told me to bring a flash drive with my work. I did. Then they tell me their projector doesn't take flash drives. That's terrible, but believe it or not, this is not the first time it's happened to me. So I brought a Blu-ray player of my own that could hook up to it through HDMI. The problem? Their projector didn't hook up to HDMI. So that was thrown out the window. So, backup plan. I had a DVD of my animations. They have a DVD player there. That seems like a win-win. Just put in the DVD player. Problem? It couldn't read it. So, there was nothing there, and I was supposed to show my animations. It was one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. Just being there, trying to show an animation, and just going through all that. I eventually just asked them, you know what, we might as well just cancel it, because I appreciate the effort, but it's not going well. There's only like 30 minutes left. It's just not worth it. Hopefully this year, if I can get my animations to show again, I'll be able to get them going. Let's see. Avin Diary. Who's the girl with the huge chest? Which girl are you referring to? If you're talking about the one I'm working on right now, that's Julie, of course, from my short film Gamers. If you haven't seen that, check that out. Let's see, I'm going to label this Matte Pupil, like before. Let's go back in here and fix this. Now let's center this. Control-Alt-2-5. Hopefully the program's not going to crash on me again, right? That's the risk you take. Maybe I should get it. Maybe I should update my computer. I really like conventions. It's so much fun. Cosplays, taking pictures, meeting with fans, making new friends. That's all so great. Oh, hey. At one convention, I even got to meet Stan Lee. If you want to hear about that story, it's pretty easy to tell. But here's what happened. I was walking through the convention, and I accidentally bumped into this old guy. I didn't know who Stan Lee was at the time, but this guy stood out because he was the only old guy at the convention. And I mean really old, the elderly person. So I just said sorry, and he just gave me this really, really good piece of advice that I still use to this day. He looked at me and he just said, "Excuse me." I'm not joking. That's really the only story I have with Stan Lee. I literally bumped into him, and he just says, "Excuse me." Yeah, it's not very exciting. But I didn't know who Stan Lee was at the time. In fact, I didn't even know it was Stan Lee until we were passing by this booth at that convention with that same old guy taking pictures with a bunch of people. And then I say, "Oh, hey, that's the old guy I bumped into." And then my brother says, "That was Stan Lee!" Well, you didn't know that? It's like, no, he's the only old guy here. I'm not really that big of a Marvel fan, actually. I like Marvel, but not as much as DC. And I do tell people that I'm more of a DC fan than Marvel. But the thing is, with Marvel, they mostly have old men as superheroes. And that's fine, that's cool. But where are the sidekicks? Where are the teen superheroes? Apparently Stan Lee didn't like doing a lot of those. So he chose not to do that many. And I don't like that. I like my teen superheroes. I want them to be closer to, the young age is cool. Teen Titans forever, man. But yeah, I'm not really that interested in Marvel superheroes. They're pretty cool. Superman is better. I'm sorry. I had to get a DC reference in there. Anyway, Spider-Man was pretty cool. I like him. I liked him as a kid. But not as much as Batman. Not as much as Teen Titans. Marvel, it's okay. But DC wins out. So, let's see. One of my favorite DC superheroes is Static Shock. I really like that show. It was about an African American kid in his life, and it wasn't afraid to tackle certain subjects. The one I like a lot is the one where Static goes back in time and he meets his mom and he tries to prevent her from dying from the gang fire or whatever. And you think it might work out if he can get this working, but if he can just get her to stay out of trouble. But she can't because she's a nurse and she has to help others. So it lets you know that even she can't avoid her duties. She wants to help others even if it means risking her own life. She saved other people just like how Static saves other people. And it's kind of a good lesson for Static, how you can't always keep thinking of yourself. You got to think of others. And it's kind of nice he learns that from his mom. One of the people he's been missing throughout his life. think that's a good lesson for people growing up. Let me look at the chat for a bit. Let's see. Okay, so Evan Diary. You're saying that the girl with the big chest you're referring to is my character Serenity. Okay. Is there anything you'd like to ask about Serenity? I can answer various questions. Christian Joff. There's a new show called DC Superhero Girls. Have I seen that? No, I've heard of it, and I've seen a bunch of merchandise for it at my local Walmart. I guess I might check that out at some point. Oops. Accidentally didn't make this its own graphic. Let's see. Matt. I 1. No, I'll just paste this in place. Where'd it go? There it is, all the way at the edge of the screen. It's always a mystery when I do that. They always appear in random areas. Okay, let's get this located. There we go, situated, and that should be good enough. Well, let's go back in here and copy these two. Tankum, where do I get my ideas for animations from? I think I've already answered that, but various places. I sometimes get them from live, sometimes I watch a TV show, and I think an idea would make it better, so I decided to take it for myself. In fact, one idea that I just thought of that I took from a TV show from Pokemon. You might not know this, might not even believe this, but there's a character in Pokemon XY named Alouette. She's a background character. She looked really cute. I really liked her design. So much that I decided to base my own character off that design, and that character I decided to name Laura Vicious. That's right, Laura was actually based off a character from Pokemon. If you look up Alouette, you might be able to see the resemblance. Of course, now I've deviated her design, and she doesn't really resemble Alouette all that much. In fact, the name Alouette I took and used for another character in the Laura Vicious show. So, yeah, making use with what I get. Sometimes, rare occasions, I get ideas from dreams, but I don't really know what to do with those exactly. Cartoon Talk. If you like DC more than Marvel, get DC Universe streaming service. Maybe. Now, the thing is, I like DC more than Marvel, but I'm getting tired of superheroes in general. It's just, it's usually the same idea. A guy gets superpowers, maybe he debates whether or not to use them for good or evil. He has to fight a villain that comes out of somewhere, and he has his own problems, stuff like that. And not every superhero movie coming out nowadays is like that, but some are, and I'm just kind of burnt out on superhero movies, mostly from Marvel. I've been seeing a ton of Marvel movies. I saw Shazam, and that was a really good movie. It wasn't just about being a superhero. It was also about family and the idea of what family is. Who can you call your family, and who should you depend on? I like the idea. In fact, when you think about it, Billy Batson from Shazam, he has both of his parents are alive. When most superheroes have dead parents, he has both parents, but his dad's in jail and his mom just doesn't want him. That is an interesting and kind of realistic take. How not everyone gets these parents that really love them and teach them all these responsibilities. Some people are good people, but they get some bad parents, and I really like that. Although I don't like how they keep shoving in Superman into Shazam. It's just, I don't know, I don't like it that much. But I'm kind of burnt out on superhero movies. Shazam was pretty good, but even at that, I'm still not too excited in watching more superhero films. Let's see. Let me get rid of this cheek. You see, here's the main issue. I made the mouth there for Julie, but this is more like his nose. So is she sucking on his nose? That's a little gross. So here's what I'll do. First, I'm going to lock Julie's pictures, drawings in. Then, let's see, Control A. Now I selected Matt's head. I'm just going to position it into a more healthy area. Healthy area? What does that even mean? Sorry. Okay. I think while I'm at it, I'm going to get a piece of Matt's hair and dye it the right color. Here we go. It's not bad. I think his head should be repositioned. Despite the influx of superhero movies coming out, this year I think there have been a bunch of good movies that have been hitting the theaters. I still haven't seen a whole lot. I want to see Godzilla. I want to see Detective Pikachu. Been hearing some good things about that. There's a new Chucky movie coming. I'm not a big fan of the idea, but sure, I'll check it out. It might be good. Might be scary. I was really scared of Chucky when I was a kid. I was like terrified. I didn't want to even look at the screen. I covered my eyes. I hid behind the couch. It was just really, really bad. But in high school, I started to get more and more interested in horror films. So I checked out Child's Play, and I'm not really that scared of it anymore. It's interesting. In fact, I kind of like the concept of the killer doll now. But I'm not sure if I'm going to like this new movie. We'll see. Oh, yes. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. That's also another movie I heard about that's supposed to be good. I guess I can check it out. Still a superhero movie, but it's about... We're not going to get another origin story unless... It's not... It's mostly about all these universes coming together, so I guess I can look at that. It's a bit different, but it's still a superhero type film. We'll see if that goes well. I'll check it out. Let's see. I'm not sure about Matt's nose here. It's a little bit pointy. You could poke a guy's eye out with that. Let's see. If you didn't notice, this design I have right here is one I finished for a t-shirt. In fact, I might as well just show you that. This is a t-shirt idea I have called Play Together with Matt and Julie. If all goes well, this should be available on Shark Robot. It is... Now, you can see that Matt... You can see them playing with Game Boy Advances and using a link cable. And the link cable forms a heart. And the Game Boys are actually styled after their eye colors. So Matt's is blue, he's got blue eyes. Julie's is red because she's got red eyes. And I decided to redesign Matt's shoes here. I didn't like the original ones, so I put a little bit more flair into it. I put a Pac-Man symbol here, and I put his weird sprite from his t-shirt right onto the shoe. And I think it turned out to be a pretty good rendition, but it all depends on who's going to get the shirt. So if anyone is interested in buying this t-shirt, at some point I'll let my fans know on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, when it will be available on the Shark Robot store. But it won't be the only shirt available. I do have others, which this is one of them that I'm working on. I also have this one of Julie mashing the buttons on the controller. And I'm thinking about putting text here that says how I play. Because even I am guilty of just mashing buttons on the controller just to win in a fighting game or even Super Smash Brothers. But I'm mostly making gamers-oriented ones, but I do have some based on Laura Vicious. So, more of that later. Let's see, I'll work on this hair a bit more. Seems like he's missing a bit here, so I'll just take this piece, modify it just a bit. Sometimes I do certain things because I'm lazy. I could just redesign this. I might redesign it, but I just want to see if I can just get away with taking a piece and putting it there. Don't tell anyone that I told you I cheat like that sometimes. I'm just kidding. Tell your friends. I'm a big cheater. In fact, I do have a story in high school of when I kind of cheated on a test. I want to say that, but it's really a loophole I found. What happened was, it was biology, and hang on, before I tell you that story, let me look at the chat. Maybe some people have asked a question. Let's see. If I were to make, Christian Joff asks, if I were to make theatrical films, would I use 2D animation or 3D animation? I would say 2D animation because 3D animation seems to have taken over the genre, and I hate that. And I'm okay with using 3D animation to help 2D animation, because I think that's what we should really be striving for. I don't think it's a good idea to keep drawing every frame for a film. With 3D animation, it's a lot easier to create a model and make that model move. And it's not like it's with games like Dragon Ball FighterZ, and there's even a Paper Airplane short film by Pixar that used 3D animation to make it look like 2D animation. We can make 2D animations of 3D models, and I like that idea, and I really think we should be pushing towards making that, not just making these 3D films. I'm getting tired of seeing all these characters with all these shadings and stuff. I want flat characters. You know how awesome it is to go to the theater when an anime movie is playing and watching all that? It's hard for me to describe. I'm kind of rambling a bit, but basically, I like 2D animations. I want to see more in films, and I will definitely push to make more 2D animated films. But that's not to say I'm not going to make my own 3D animated films. In fact, I have my own ideas for films that aren't even animated. I have an idea for a live-action film called Tech Teddy. I might change the name later, but the basic gist of that movie would be a kid gets a teddy bear, and the teddy bear this is like the future, and the teddy bear is all robotic. The teddy bear wants to protect the kid. And there's also might be aliens or a rogue AI that wants to destroy humanity. But basically, this teddy bear was a prototype of the AI or from the aliens or something. And the teddy bear wants to protect the kid. And the kid doesn't even like the teddy bear. He thinks he's too old for it. And at some point, the teddy bear gets inside a mech, and then he fights the main villain, which is going to be like a giant monster fight, which might cost a lot of money to make. But I think that would be a really cool movie if I can make that. Let's see. Now, I think this is looking good. Yeah, we might not see that bit of hair behind Julie's head, but just to be safe, I still put it there. I'm in a bit of trouble here. I think one of the issues is, let me see. Yep. Forgot to add this outline. Stickman Boy 2007, Azrael Battle Part 2. Don't worry, I'm working on it. Just trying to find a voice actor for Azrael. Once I get that, it should be... I should have one by June 15th. Once that happens, I'll be able to work on Part 2. That's really the main hang-up I've been focusing on. So, when it comes to video games, I'm more interested in some action kind of titles, but I'm also a big fan of a few puzzle games. Puyo Puyo comes to mind. Never been an expert at that game, but every now and then it's pretty fun. Still haven't checked out Puyo Puyo Tetris. The Puyo Puyo I'm talking about is more Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, if anyone remembers that game. Sega Genesis. Other than that, I do like action games, adventure games. Legend of Zelda comes to mind. That's a pretty good series. They got puzzles. They got dungeons. Pretty obvious series. Super Mario, that's alright too, I guess. I haven't really played that much of Super Mario. Took me a long time just to beat Super Mario 64. And I mean beat it with all the stars, because that took forever. Is anyone else disappointed that Luigi wasn't in that game? That was a major disappointment for me when I was a kid. Of course, now there are mods that put him in there. It's just, it's not the real deal. Okay, got that eyebrow. Let's work on the other eyebrow. RPGs. I also love RPGs. Yes. Gengar. Funny thing is, I was always intimidated by RPGs as a kid. My oldest brother, he had Legend of Dragoon and Final Fantasy VII. And I just remember looking at it and him telling me that it's a long game. And I just started thinking, how long of a game could this really be? And I was just really intimidated by the whole genre, thinking, man, these must be really complicated games to get into. And I eventually decided to try one out when it was at the beginning of 2016, I believe, where I had Legend of Dragoon, and I decided that since my brother didn't beat it, I would beat it just to show him up. I decided to take on the challenge and start the game, and long story short, I got really into it, and I eventually found that RPGs actually aren't that complicated. They can be, but they're not too bad, and they can get really in depth. I actually love RPGs now. And the first one I played was Legend of Dragoon. It's a good one, but I don't really recommend starting out with it. The story is good, but it's a story that takes place in its own world, and it's kind of hard to get into it, I guess. Maybe not for other people, but it was a little hard for me. If only they were to remake that game, that would be cool. Maybe update some of the dialogue. Tankamas, what's your favorite RPG game? I think my favorite RPG is Stella Glow right now. But I still haven't played a bunch of my other ones, like Mugen Souls. Or is it Mugen Souls? I don't know. With Stella Glow, it's got this really, really in-depth story. And the ending is genius. I can't spoil it because I want others to play the game, but the ending just really surprised me, because throughout the game, you just gotta kill the main bad guy on the moon. But then the main bad guy fuses with one of your friends, and if you kill her, then you kill your friend as well. And you don't want to do that. And the way that they get around that is incredible because it makes sense. And if anyone knows what I'm talking about, then you know what I mean. But I still don't want to just blurt, just spoil the ending. But it's a good game. It's got multiple different additional endings, and I've actually already included a reference to it in the YowLife Q&A Gamers, where Julie actually says she really likes Stella Glow for 3DS, and she really ships Lizette and Alto. And that's what I do. I ship Lizette and Alto, so I said, you know what? I'm going to have her ship them together. Stickman Boy 2007 asks, what do I like better, Sega or Nintendo? That's a bit hard. I guess I'm just gonna have to go with Nintendo. Sega is cool, but they made too many mistakes. I think Nintendo has got a better, cleaner record, and even though their games aren't always as fun as the last one, they still try, I guess. But you can't forget about Atari. Atari was a big thing a long time ago. Sure, it's not that big anymore, but I think Atari has their own sort of appeal. Of course, I'm mostly saying that because in high school I made that Captain A series about a guy who was an Atari fanatic, and I had to research Atari a lot in order to be able to make that show. But it's pretty cool. I've been hearing a lot about this thing called Roblox. I have no idea. I imagine that's like a service, like Toontown or something. If anyone remembers Toontown. Basically an online service that mostly kids are into. Club Penguin, how about that? I think more people are familiar with Club Penguin. Basically an online service where you can talk to your friends, kind of like a Facebook-ish thing, but it's more interactive. You got characters and stuff. I think that's what Roblox is. I might be wrong, but I've never actually looked into it. I have been having some people tell me about it on my gamers film. So that's really the main reason I even know it exists. Let me save this just in case. I don't want another crash. Let's see. Ace Perryman asks, what's your favorite type of shooter game? Let's see. I think most recently I played Stardust Galaxy Warriors. That was okay, but the story was lackluster. It was terrible. The character designs and the gameplay was all right, but the story was just about, I mean, at first it's like you got to fight these bad guys, and then you get introduced to a main villain, but the villain the villain doesn't actually do much. And then you find out the villain was actually your commander in disguise, but that doesn't really matter all that much. And then you fight him, and then you beat him, and that's the end of the game. It wasn't really worth it. Gengar asks, what about Matt's brother? Shane. I'm not sure if you'd like to know what exactly you'd like to know about him, but I can talk about him for a bit. Anybody who knows about me and what happened in 2016 knows I lost a brother that I really cared about. His name was Shenar. And basically, I'm trying to keep his memory alive in some of my films, some of my animations. So I gave Matt a brother and named him Shane. Sorry if my tone of voice has changed. It's just that's a pretty touchy subject. I think I better leave it there because just to be safe. You'll see more of Shane in future animations, I guess, with gamers. Something else you might want to know is Julie's sister, though. Now, I gave Matt a brother, but I wasn't sure if I should give Julie a sister. I didn't want her to be an only child because most people I know have a brother or sister. So I figured, you know what, fine, she can have a sister. But I didn't know what to do with her, so I just said she's on vacation in France, somewhere in France. And this is when I made a really bad mistake, because many people have pointed out France is not the city of love. Serenity says, the city of love, but no, Paris is the city of love, and I got that mixed up. I'm sorry. That's a genuine mistake, and I hope I don't make it again, but who knows. Excuse me. Let's see. I'm not sure I need to give Matt a mouth, but let's give him blush marks. I'm always so picky with how to make the blush marks. Sometimes I want to do the lines. Sometimes I just want to do a circle. Let's try the circle for now. We'll do lines later. For the circle, I'm just going to make a pinkish kind, bright color. More red. I think that looks good. Modify, combine objects, union. Let's copy that. Let's shape that. Let's see, we got to make sure to make it's over the make sure it's over the cheeks. In fact, let me try something. Just gotta make sure they're centered. Minecraft, yeah. 10 on Bolt, Dragon Storm asks, not only Roblox is great, Minecraft is cool. I am planning on making a Minecraft series, but it'll take a long time to get it out there with the amount of subscribers I have. Hey, just so you know, you really should just start making a series regardless of the amount of subscribers you have. I mean, I started making animations. I made Gamers in 2014. It barely had 200 views. It sat there for so long until YouTube finally decided to recommend my videos. Thank you, YouTube. I really appreciate that. I don't know if I have to say that, but basically, yeah. I really appreciate that YouTube started recommending my videos, but I hate the fact that it took so long just to get it started. Anyway, if you're going to make a series, just make it. Don't make it for other people. Make it for yourself, and then take advice from other people. That's really my philosophy. I make short films I want to see, but I don't stray away from advice of others. If someone thinks they can make it better in one way, I try to listen to that because maybe they're right. I don't think I'm always right, and if they can make my show better, I want to see that. So that's what I've always been thinking. Let's see. I'm gonna change this into a graphic. Name that blush marks. Matte. Always gotta be specific. Then now I can angle this. Be like that. Let's see here. Let me try to get this looking alright. I guess that's fine. Let's see. Let's try to make this a blur. Maybe blur will look good. Actually, I'm starting to think twice about that. If it's a blur, they'll use more colors when it's printed. That's a... I'm not sure I'm really a fan of that. I'm changing it. I guess I'll change it to blush marks. I just hate making them. It just takes so long. Oh, by the way, if no one's noticed by now, I've mostly been using a mouse to draw all this. I try not to use the stylus too much. I'm using it right now, but I don't always need to use it. Body Gamer asks, do I play Fortnite? No, I do not. I've heard that it's a pretty big game right now. That's cool, I guess. I'm not really interested in that many first-person shooters or third-person shooter games. In fact, I'm not really interested in games you have to play online, or that are better if you play them online. I'm more interested in the single-player kind of games, the experience kind of games that are just there. They don't have a story. They're just there to play. I don't really like those that much. Need more lines. Not blushy enough. Being kissed, god dang it. It's not, you know, he's gonna be surprised. Mr. Random asks, what's my favorite game? Favorite game? That's all. Let me bring up the ones that I keep coming back to. Donkey Kong 64. Great game. I know there's a ton of flaws with some of the level design, but still I have very fond memories playing it when I was a kid. So I think there's a nostalgia factor there for me. And it was the game that I beat that my brothers couldn't beat. So there's also a bit of me showing them up kind of feeling there, if that makes sense. Another game, Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. I think I've already brought that up. That's a good game. Stakes are high. Gotta save the world. Another game. Jeez. Puppeteer. That's a great game for the PS3. In fact, I had Matt talk about it in the YowLife Q&A. That's a really great game. I recommend you check it out and definitely play it. In fact, I wouldn't mind making a Puppeteer movie if I had the chance. It sounds awesome. You know, you got a kid, he's in a puppet body, he battles things on the moon, he's got a giant pair of scissors. It sounds awesome. Let's see, this looks decent, but... Gotta position this correctly. I'm always so picky when it comes to this stuff. Maybe... I don't know. Maybe I should offset some of these. Amun Runa asks, do you like your characters? No, of course not. I hate them. They're terrible. No, I'm just joking. Of course I love them. They're awesome. I mean, I might like some characters more than others, but it's not like I wish I didn't invent a certain character. One of the hardest characters I write for is my character Serenity. She is just very suggestive. Lots of stuff she says can be interpreted as something sexy or as just something normal. And writing her scripts can take a while. So what I tend to do is I watch some anime with some sexy characters, and if they say anything that sounds pretty good, I write it down, and I don't really copy their dialogue per se, but I use it to inspire inspire. It's kind of like just making new dialogue out of their dialogue. In a way, it's kind of bad, but in another way, I find it's more taking inspiration. But yeah, it's not like I do all that for her dialogue. I do come up with my own, but it's just hard to write for her because she can be very sexy and also suggestive. The difference there is it's too easy to make a joke about it's too easy to make obvious sexual innuendos, the obvious kind, if you know what I mean. I gotta make sure what she's saying is more clever. It's kind of looking good. I'm always so picky when it comes to this. Not to mention, I gotta dye this thing right here. I think that's good enough for now. I might change it later. But for right now, I'll just combine that into a union. Save. I don't want to crash again. Tenka Master, I draw anime. I believe I do. Check out my DeviantArt. DeviantArt / Kristen Robinson, I believe. And you can also look at that at my YouTube channel. I believe it's listed there. So check that out. Jetfire asks, what is my favorite anime? That's easy. Inuyasha. But I have very strict rules on how I determine my favorite anime. One, it's got to be finished. No, I don't want an anime that started but never actually ended. It does not count. And sadly, there's lots of anime I like that are just like that. This is a zombie, Unbreakable Machine Doll, No, that one ended. I mean, Unbreakable Machine Doll didn't end. I was about to say Chika the Coffin Princess. That's a good one. But that actually did end. But the ending was kind of rushed, so that's also not my favorite. But my favorite is Inuyasha because it starts out... It starts and ends where you need it to be. And you got some romance. You got a bit of sexiness. That's always nice. And you also got a lot of action. And that's awesome. Also, a big bonus is if it can make me laugh. And Inuyasha had a lot of hilarious scenes in there. So, yeah, pretty easy pick. Inuyasha. Might not be my favorite forever if something else comes along, but right now that's what I'm going with. My brothers didn't actually like Inuyasha that much. I don't understand why. It was really awesome. My favorite character was Moroku, or maybe it was Shippo. It was one of the two. They were always funny and cool. So right now I'll work on that. Gotta give him a neck. Let's see, under the neck, gonna have to put in the shirt. I have checked out Sword Art Online, and I was really into the first season, but the second season didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Why did they need Kirito to help to investigate this guy just because he was in the same guild? That seems like a really forced idea. Like, why do you need him though? And it didn't really make sense. And then there was that scene where what was the other girl's name? Sion. She was undressing and he's all embarrassed because she thinks he's a girl and he's really a boy. But what I don't get is, why doesn't he just say, "Whoa, hey, you might not want to do that. I'm a guy." Why does he bring up his profile and make her read it? That's just stupid. Born Creative Gotcha Doodles asks, when did you get into art? I think I was already asked that, but I've always been interested. Like other people have said, or the other artists I've seen, I was always interested in drawing as a kid. Decided to draw, and with a lot of practice, I got pretty good at it. At least I think I'm good at it. I remember one time I had this comics class in high school, and one time everyone knew me as a guy that liked to draw, and they thought I drew pretty good. And one time, the teacher was told by a student that the student needed an artist for something they were working on. So, with me, I was busy at the time. But still, I was the first person the teacher went up to and asked, and she asked, "Hey, Kristen, would you be interested in working on this project with this person?" And I just told her, "Oh no, I don't think I can do that. I'm not good at drawing." And everyone in the class started laughing. That was a pretty good time. Comics class was always pretty good. And in fact, I have another short story of what happened in high school that was interesting. What happened was, well, first let me explain the whole deal, what I'm talking about. There was this foreign exchange student, and I accidentally insulted his country, and I regretted it. Well, I thought it was a funny joke, but he didn't. And right now, I don't think it's a funny joke either anymore. I think I could have done better. And basically, it just seemed like he hated me for the rest of the year. Until I actually got to talk to him. So what happened was, I was in class, and I accidentally insulted his country. I was doing it as a joke. But one of my friends, I think his name was Tristan, he told me, the foreign exchange student is looking at you funny. And I look at him, and he's just looking at me all mad, and I'm all, aw, dang. So what happened was, later, he got pretty popular in school. And when I was in my English class, he wasn't supposed to be there. He was there. And the English teacher told him to leave. He did. And all the girls just started talking about the guy, saying that they like him. He's so cool. And I just start saying, I think he hates me. And everyone just starts laughing at the idea, even the teacher. But what happened was, later on, I did get to talk to him, and I said, look, hey, I'm sorry for what I said earlier. And he just goes up and says, when did you say that? And that really surprised me. He didn't hate me, he just didn't care. He just didn't mind talking to me. Which is interesting. I don't think I'm boring. Okay. Gamers 2? Yes, I'm working on Gamers 2. Please. I mean, I'm glad everyone's asking that, but can't everyone just say, I'm glad you're working on Gamers 2 instead of saying, when's Gamers 2 coming out? I like seeing people get interested in my work, but I get tired seeing the same message of, when's this coming out? Work on this. I want this. I want Gamers 2. When's Gamers 2? Make a season 2 of Drawing Notes. I'm fine if you want to make that, but I really prefer it if you just said, I'm glad you're working on Gamers 2. I'm glad you're working on this. That would be nice. Gamers 2 is being worked on, and I've already talked a bit about it, about the idea. I will also introduce more of Matt's friends in that sequel. You'll be able to see. Not all of Matt's friends are gamers like him. He's like the main gamer of the group, but he also has friends that make music and stuff like that. He's not gonna have a school bully because I never actually had a school bully in high school, so I don't think I can make that relatable. But I'm going to introduce some of the people Matt knows, some of his schoolmates, his friends, and hopefully get that looking good. So right now, just trying to design Matt's controller here. It's at an awkward angle, so I might have to turn this. We can just get this going. Okay, select that, select this. Now I'll just put the center point there, or not, and just turn it. Now F8, Matt's controller. Matt's controller. Enter. Now let's take this, cut that out, paste it on top, and we'll get right to it. Actually, we'll get right to it in a sec. I'm sorry, I gotta go to the bathroom again. Real quick before I do, Tankum asks, how long does an animation take? I find it can take up to a month now, sometimes a little bit more. Depends on the length and the kind, the quality. My Spooky Boo was a short one, but that still took me a month because I had to get certain animations right, certain jiggle physics right. That required a lot more experimentation than I thought it would. But anyway, I'll be back. Just gotta use the bathroom. Alright, I am back. New season of My Hero Academia and Ruby. To my bolt, Dragatoriism is saying that he can't wait for a new season of My Hero Academia and Ruby. My Hero Academia, I'm totally with you on that. I really like that show. The only real issue I have is it's kind of formulaic. The main heroes get into trouble, and just when it looks like something bad's gonna happen, something else saves the day. I really hate it when I actually find that out, when I point out that. I really wish I could have just been surprised. But yeah, I don't like that. But that's not to say I don't like My Hero Academia. It's still a really awesome show. I had one of the best movie experiences when I saw that movie. It was so awesome because what happened was some people dressed up in cosplay, and when it got to certain parts, everyone started laughing. There's a part in the My Hero Academia movie where, what's his name? Mineta? He basically has to be motivated to scale the outside of the building, and he's motivated by getting a harem. And he just starts saying, harem, 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 harem. And everyone started laughing about that. And it had this really epic final fight. And that was awesome. So, yeah, that was a really great movie. Really great experience. Wish I bought a t-shirt. Oh well. Guess if they come out with another movie, I'll do it then. So what I'm going to do here for the controller is I'm just going to build a basic faceplate with a D-pad, joystick, and such. And then I will add it into... I will distort it onto this face. That's what I mean. Should probably position it here. Just like that. Zexicon Boomface asks, what is your favorite My Hero Academia character? Bit of a tough one. Top of my head, I don't want to say he's my favorite, but he's still a pretty cool character, Mineta. He's just really funny, and I like how he's motivated by girls. That's really awesome. I don't like how creepy he can be sometimes, though. That's a little weird. Midoriya, he's the main character, right? But he's still kind of a wuss. He cries a lot, and I don't like that. Sorry I can't figure out every character's name. I'll try to. All Might is really cool too. He's got that upbeat personality. Some characters I don't get. Let's see. Designing controllers. Guess I'll take some inspiration from Sega with the 3-button concept. I'm not really too happy with this D-pad I made. Bit too long. Try to redesign that. Anyway, as far as My Hero Academia goes and favorite characters, I'm not quite sure I can think of it right now. Midoriya is pretty cool. Mineta also. I can't think of their names. There's a guy who has flame powers and ice powers. I don't think he's that cool. He's kind of like the emo rival to Midoriya. And there's that other guy with the fire powers from his sweat. I think his name's Bakugo. He's okay. No, he's not. He's not okay. I just don't like the fact that in the first episode he tells Midoriya that he should kill himself, and he never apologized for it. If that was just terrible. So I don't like him. There's also that guy with the jets in his feet and his legs. He's okay, I guess. Oh yeah. The Sonic movie. I saw that trailer, and I think I already brought it up earlier. I don't like it. He looks ugly. I don't even like the concept. Sonic shouldn't have to come to the real world. He already exists in a world with humans. They should have just made it where he has to find Chaos Emeralds or something. And even if they wanted to make Sonic come to the real world, that wasn't the... It just didn't look good. It should have been an animated film, first off. It shouldn't have been live action. But even if you were going to go live action, that wasn't the right design they should have used. But even at that, they said they're going to change the design, so at least we're going to get that. And I might even check out the movie just based on the fact that they're changing the design. Let's see here. We're going to need yellow and orange, right? And I think blue. Maybe. I don't know. It looks like a candy-coated game. Let's see. Well, let's stay away from blue. To my Bolt Dragonstorm, thank you. I'll see if I can find that request. I got a lot of friend requests, though. I keep getting them. Just gotta review them, though. Jetfire, do I like Undertale? I guess. It looks good. I mean, I liked it enough to make an animation. So, there's that. I don't think it's the best game ever, but it's not a terrible game. Still got some stuff that could be improved. Stuff I don't like. In fact, one of the reasons why I made that Undertale animation is because I think it would have looked much better if it was a side-scroller. But, you know, live and learn. Living on the edge of tomorrow. I hope Sega comes out with a new Sonic game that's really good. I know they're working on Team Sonic Racing. I don't know how well that's going to turn out, but we really need a really good Sonic game. Sonic Forces, I haven't played that, but I've heard some bad stuff about it, and that's unfortunate. I'm sure it's got its own merits in certain areas, but I don't... But if it's not a really great game, then they're really behind Nintendo. In fact, why was the original Sonic in that game? I think I saw a cutscene where Tails said, "You're that Sonic from the other dimension." And what I don't get is Sonic Generations. That game had Sonic from the past, not from another dimension. That was explicit. So is Tails talking about a different time when they met Sonic from another dimension? I don't know. Let's see. Let's dye that color. I think this would look a little bit better if we had an outline. If you know what I mean. Right in here. Just like that. There we go. Now let's Control X. V. Let's change this color. In fact, let's do more than that. Let's change that color. Then we'll change this color. That'll allow us to take this color, delete that color, then use ink on this color, and turn it black. Let's turn this shade of gray. I'm going to make all these buttons the same color. In fact, if we're going to make them one color. Might as well make them green. That's Matt's main color scheme. Not too sure about this line, actually. I should delete that. Most game controllers are wireless nowadays, so I don't even have to worry about having a wire. I could if I felt like it, but I don't want to. And that should be a decent enough controller. I might modify it a bit more later. That's what I got right now. Now let's add it over his arm. Over here, V, put it over here. Let's change this anchor point and turn that a little. Turn that, just turn it. I think it would be more down here, honestly. Okay, let's save that. That looks pretty good. You know, I tried the game Sonic 2006. That was when I was really into Sonic the Hedgehog. I just finished Sonic X and I wanted more Sonic, so I decided to try out Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, and that game was just bad. I couldn't return it because by the time I realized I didn't want the game anymore, it was far too late, and GameStop has that stupid return policy. So I couldn't return the game, but I decided to sell it. I didn't get my money back, but at least I got money back. So that game, I know there's some fans working to make a better version of it. I guess I'll try out that one. But ultimately, what's the point? Even the game's story retcons itself. At the end, none of it happens. I don't feel bad spoiling that because it's a bad game. At the end of Sonic 2006, none of it happens. They erase the game from existence. That's the major death wish you can give a game. Basically telling the player, you played this for no reason. This game doesn't matter. Even the characters from that game that are in other Sonic games, they were reintroduced in other games just to explain why they're there again. And that's kind of lame. Let's draw Matt's hand on this controller. His thumb would be clutching it, first off, so let's get this hand over that controller. Then he's going to have fingers underneath the controller. Let's see. I guess it would be clutching it. Let's see if I can get this to look good. Just working on it. Yeah, the new Sonic movie does have Jim Carrey in it. And I like Jim Carrey in some of his movies, obviously, like The Mask. Ace Ventura was alright. I didn't really like Dumb and Dumber. But it might be interesting to see him again. Haven't seen him in that many recent movies. In fact, I wasn't even sure if he was doing movies anymore. Let's see. Got to smoothen this out. Bring that over here. Shade that in. Delete that. Delete that. Delete that. Move that. I'm always very particular when it comes to hands. You know, a lot of people give a lot of flack for Son of the Mask because it was a sequel to The Mask and it didn't have Jim Carrey in it. I think it's an okay movie. So, yeah, check that out if you want. So let's see. We're going to need another finger underneath this one. Let's work on that. So, aside from Jim Carrey, I think the only other thing I'm looking forward to in the Sonic movie coming up by Paramount is just all the action scenes and all the fighting. I'm sure that's going to look cool because Sonic has a very unique way of fighting with him spinning around. I hope they incorporate that in a lot of scenes and don't just make him jump on stuff and throw things. That would be really dumb. So they better not just do that. Let's see. Maybe we should have a finger coming out from underneath the controller. Like maybe his index finger is excuse me, coming out like that. Zaxicon Boomface asks, if I may interrupt you, please answer my question. What happened to Jade Firefly? If you don't know who that is, Jade Firefly is a character from a video game idea I have. I put up a Kickstarter for it long ago, and it didn't get its funding, and the trailer for that Kickstarter is still up on... It's still up on the Kickstarter page, and it's also on my YouTube account. Now, the thing is... I was a bit too ambitious with that, thinking I could create a full-scale game all by myself. The game would be a shoot 'em up. It would be about a girl in space named Jade Firefly, and she has to save the universe from the evil Cronians, who are a race of aliens that wear armor and also killed her race. The idea is shelved right now. It's not canceled. But it's going to take a while to actually get to it. And by the time I do get to it, it's going to be a lot different than when I first started. Let me look back in the chat. I wonder if there's anything I missed. Oh, Mr. Random said, am I the only person that when YowLife posts any video, they drop everything to watch it? Oh, that's really nice. I would like it if you weren't the only person. Sometimes I'm a bit too excited to post a video, or I post them at awkward times. I don't think that's a good thing, though. I should probably try to post them more when more people have free time. Let's see, just gotta modify that. We can get here. This there. Now, I think this hand is good, but I think it's in a bad position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these layers and just make a graphic out of them. So it's this one to this one, layer 96. So go here. Copy. F8. Matte holding controller. Enter. Then I will paste it over. Paste it. Select it. And where to go? There it is. Select it, drag it over, place it on top, and just like that. There we go. Now, let me put this in place. Now I should probably put a sleeve hole in here. Okay. I agree, Laura does deserve a movie. Yeah. I also think Laura Vicious could make a good movie. I have some ideas for that, but like I said, I can't make a movie on my own. At least I don't want to, because it's just going to take a while. If anyone was able to fund my Patreon, I would be able to get more animators and get my ideas out faster. So I highly recommend visiting my Patreon. I'll link it in... I guess I can link it in the chat. And check it out. Hang on. Just trying to find it. It's always a bit of an issue. I'll figure it out. Now let's see. When it comes to the sleeve, usually start out with a circle, make it in there. Might not make sense. I'm more rambling right now. And let's see. Gotta extend that out. Now, if the stream goes well, then I might do another one. And if I can keep this up, I might make this a regular thing. I do have a lot of drawings I have to get to, so it's not like I don't have any work I can work on. It's just more if I even have the time to dedicate to this, because I don't always have enough time to relegate to just working on my stuff, even though I have to. Sometimes I work on it a little bit here, a little bit there. Other times I actually have to dedicate a lot of time just to work on them. I've got many things coming up that I got to focus on. It's a bit complicated to explain, but it's all affecting me. Wait, what does it even mean? It's all affecting me. Basically, it's a lot of work. Okay. Hang on 1 second. I'm just going to check out something else. Do that. And there we go. I just linked my Patreon in the chat if anyone is interested in checking that out. On there, you'll be able to find many sketches I've made for many animations, but you'll also be able to see some director's commentary on certain YowLife animations. So if you want to know certain facts or anything that I haven't mentioned here, check it out. Christian Joff asks, do you like the works of animators like Don Bluth, Ralph Bakshi, Richard Williams, Mike Judge, Brad Bird, Tom Moore, and Hayao Miyazaki? Surprisingly, I know all of those guys except for Tom Moore. Don Bluth. I don't really watch his work all that much. I don't really have much to say on Don Bluth. I know he made the Dragon's Lair game, or at least the animations for it, but I haven't actually played that. I've seen some footage, and it just seems like a really long game. Ralph Bakshi. I still don't fully know this guy. I know he made Cool World, and I don't really like Cool World. It's just really weird and odd. Richard Williams. Richard Williams. He's got his book on the Animator Survival Kit. It seems to be a standard for animators to read when they want to get into animation. So I've read that, and if I can complain about it a bit, most of the book is just about a walk cycle. How to do a good walk cycle, the different ways to do a walk cycle, and that's all fine and good, but what if your character's in a wheelchair? Or what if your character has magic and floats? I just don't think he should have made the entire thing about how to make walk cycles. But it's pretty good. Mike Judge. King of the Hill was good. It's got an ugly art style, and I was able to actually talk to the art director who designed the characters on King of the Hill, and he said he was asked to make them more ugly on purpose. Hayao Miyazaki. I don't know. I don't know much about Hayao Miyazaki. I know he sort of created this art style of anime that he uses in all of his films, and I think it looks good, but it's not my favorite. I think my favorite Hayao Miyazaki film would be Spirited Away, but that's not saying I really love that movie. I just like it. It's okay. Another one I think is by Hayao Miyazaki is Howl's Moving Castle. That was alright too. It was a little confusing, but that was good. But more recently, one that's more of the Studio Ghibli art style that I've seen is Mary and the Witch's Flower. That was pretty good. I saw it in the theater. Really cool. So let's get back to it. Let's see, we need a sleeve to cover this hand, so we'll just draw one in there. Just a rough one. Now let's Control C that. Drag that out. And once we got that, Control V. Get rid of that. And we got that. Let's see. Let me get back into this hand. Let me get back to the task at hand. That reminds me. That phrase was used in Gumball, and that has reminded me of Gumball. So, does anyone watch Gumball anymore? I think that show is canceled. I liked Gumball for a while. Or The Amazing World of Gumball, if you want to know the full title. And I thought it was pretty good, but I think it was the end of Season 2, beginning of Season 3. Somewhere along the way, they just lost the point. And they just started making episodes that were just commentaries on stuff. Kind of like how The Simpsons or Family Guy does it. This hand is way too big. He's got a Hulk hand if I do something like that. Let's see. Let me make that 80% smaller. Anyway, Amazing World of Gumball. I thought it was a good show in its prime, but it went downhill. That's sad to see. They try to be more like The Simpsons, which is weird. But I liked it. Mr. Random asks, any love stories or school stories? I'm gonna have to think about that. Oh yeah, Jetfire asked previously, do you know Rayman? I do know Rayman. I have Rayman Origins, and I'm thinking about playing that, but it's going to take a while before I'm going to even have the opportunity. But it's on my bucket list. I'll get to it eventually. Do that. Let's see, does that look good? Honestly, I don't think this looks good. Gonna modify that. Put that there. Insert that here. Make sure to save this program. No, it's crashing. I think it hates me. Hates that I take forever just to draw a sleeve and an arm. I'm sorry. It's not like I'm Vassy McNeil. Okay. Work on that. Get that going. Yeesh. I'll get it working good. I think I'll take a break from drawing that controller. Just something a bit easier, the torso. Draw a bit of the jacket. Go in there. Now coming back in. Smooth this out. Drag this over here. Cut that. Paste there. Drop that color in. Burp. Excuse me. Do that. And yeah, that's looking good. I still gotta work on the on her butt. It's just no, cause like that covers it. I don't want it to be covered. Maybe like that. Maybe that would be good. Basically, one of the tendencies I have is to work on certain parts before other parts. I'll get this looking good at some point. It's going to take a while. Not sure how entertaining that'll be. Let's see. She still doesn't have an eyebrow. Let's bring that up. No, I have not heard of Brightburn. Seems like everyone's bringing up stuff I don't know about. Let's see. Stickman Boy 2007 said he left, Jet left, but then Jetfire came back saying, nope, I'm still alive. Yay. Well, hope you don't mind me bringing that up. Just, it's funny when you leave for a while and people just start saying this is a dead channel, you're dead. And I don't like that phrasing. Because just because they haven't posted in a while doesn't mean that they're gone. It just means, they haven't posted in a while. And when they return, shouldn't try and say, oh, you're not dead. That's just rude. Let me just get this. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Now, keep in mind, I'm hosting this stream until 4 p.m. Central Time, and it's getting close to that. So about 10 minutes, gonna be ending. So if anyone has any major questions they want to ask me, you might as well go ahead and shoot those off. Could be about anything. Could be about the YowLife Q&A. Could be about characters. Could be about Matt and Julie, I guess. That's what I'm working on right now. So I assume lots of you are gamers fans. But if you have anything, let me know. Especially if it's some original idea that no one's actually mentioned before. Some original questions. Hello, Echo to the Unknown. Thank you for showing up. Tricky Star, how long is this going to take? Well, the stream is about to end in roughly 5 minutes. Mixed Universe. I've already answered that question in the stream. That'll take a while to answer right now, so you can get a basic version of it on the Gamers short film in the description. Zaxicon Boomface. Do I like your username? It's okay, but it could be better because Zaxicon is an odd word. I'll just call it Zaxstick. Gengar. Apparently you want some Gamers plushes. I would love to produce plushes of my characters, but that's going to take a long time, a lot of planning, and I'm not sure what company to get involved with right now to even do that. But hopefully in the future I can get that done. Stickman Boy 2007. Have Julie and Matt played Super Smash Bros. Ultimate? I guess not. But what does that matter? Somehow make gamers into some Sword Art Online show. I prefer not to, because Sword Art Online is mostly about the games and them in the games. But my gamers, I think it's more about the characters and how they're gamers and how they deal with their problems and their stuff in real life and how video games affect them. Alright, I think I'll stop drawing there. Just going to look through the chat, see if there's any interesting questions, interesting additions. Maybe something I missed. Let's see. Classic games. Don't play Fortnite. I don't really get into politics so much as I call it politics, so don't ask me about the president. I don't hate Fortnite, but I don't play Fortnite, so that doesn't matter. Let's see. Maybe a sketchpad would help. It's on my Bolt Dragonstorm, but I'm not sure I can afford to buy one right now. Let's see. Do I like Undertale? Yes. It's not great, but it's cool. I already answered the idea for gamers. I don't play first-person shooter games. It's on my Bolt Dragonstorm, so sorry I don't know which is better, Halo 4 or Halo 5. Let's see. Yes, I watch anime. Okay. Yes, I will make gamers too. Please stop asking that. Okay. No, I don't. I haven't seen the Dragon Maid anime. Haven't played Bolt. And thank you for liking gamers. Okay. Well, I think that about wraps up this live stream. I might hold another one. If I do, I will make a post about it on YouTube, on DeviantArt, on Twitter, and on my Facebook. So, thank you all for coming by. Thank you for showing up. And I will see you in the next stream. And if you have any more questions, feel free to contact me. Thank you.